Hey everybody, welcome to the Onion Nuggets. Yeah.
Onion, mother, effing nuggets.
Just realized we got the wrong Brandon on there. There we go.
Look at that. Yeah, get the right fucking.
The fuck is wrong with me?
We keep dropping F bombs in the first seconds of the show, dude. We gotta.
That's
stop.
okay. This is a patron show. This ain't.
That's true.
Ain't even. We can't.
But
even
we're in the habit
anyway.
though. That's what I'm saying.
That's
the
true.
habit.
You're true. You're right.
The habit is bad.
Yeah, we gotta fucking at least clear those out of the. We gotta at least clear those out of the first minute or so of these videos. You know.
Yep. Yep. Potty mouths, dude.
We gotta, we gotta rein it in a little bit, for the sake of money.
Do you think that cursing
plus F-bombs would be more powerful if we didn't do them quite so much, right?
That's one of the things that people used to say to me when I was a teenager about cussing. There's a bunch of BS about cussing is taught to you like when you're a kid to try and keep you from cussing. Like they'll say like cussing is the sign of a small mind. It's like, okay, well, George Carlin had a potty mouth, so that's obviously not the case. There's
definitely been a lot of fucking foul-mouthed geniuses out there. Like Christopher Hitchens was pretty foul-mouthed.
Yeah, Christopher Hitchens.
That guy, I don't show me a smarter dude than that. Come on.
And then it was like, cussing is the sign of a small vocabulary. And it's just like, well, that's obviously not true because, like, once again, for the same reason, almost some of the greatest wordsmiths of our time are foul mouths. So
yeah, I don't agree with that one. But I do, I gotta say though, if you know a person who doesn't curse much, and then all of a sudden they drop that F-bomb, like when my mom drops an F-bomb or something, it's like, whoa, because she's not a big cursor,
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
So there is a little bit more oomph to it,
Sure.
It's like Planes, Trains, Automobiles. They could have had a PG-13 rating on that movie, but they wanted to have because if you look, there's only one part of that movie where they use the word fuck at all.
Yeah.
But when they do use it, it's like a litany of fucks, and it's like they even asked what's his face, the guy that made it, John Hughes, to cut the scene because it's like, oh well, we could have a PG-13, much broader audience. He's like, no, it's too fucking funny.
Yeah, no,
it has to be in there.
That's the most, like, I would argue the most memorable scene of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is the Steve Martin freak out at the airline steward or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great movie, and I love so many scenes in it. That's definitely a contender for the #1 slot.
There's that one. Like the only other one that I'd put it up against is the "Those Aren't Pillows" scene.
Yeah, what about the fucking stuff? I mean, the stuff in the car, like, you're going the wrong way, and then the fucking two trucks, and he looks over, and he's the devil, and I mean, I don't know. That's pretty good shit.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Those aren't memed on as much, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It sticks with me, though. It sticks with me good. Man, I love that shit.
Speaking of memes, TJ.
Oh, shit, we got a meme. Am I still watching Tulsa King? I actually am.
What is Tulsa King?
Tulsa King. All right, so I was watching YouTube one day, and I see this ad, and it has Sylvester Stallone in it, and then I realized this is not an ad for a movie. This is an ad for a fucking show. And I'm like, so Sylvester Stallone is doing. Did I say Steven Seagal? I meant Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone is doing this fucking show.
Yeah,
and it's the premise of the show is he's a mafia guy, right? I'm in the fucking mob. And then he goes to prison to like cover for somebody else for 25 years and never rats or anything. And when he gets out, he's like expecting to be treated like a king. And they're like, yeah, we're going to set you up in Tulsa. So they send him to fucking Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he's just like, this fucking sucks. This is Tulsa, Oklahoma. And yeah,
so it's like My Blue Heaven or whatever the fuck.
I don't know. I never heard of that, but yeah.
My Blue Heaven was Steve Martin and fucking Rick Moranis. Come on, TJ. How do you miss that movie?
I don't know. I missed it.
Steve Martin plays like a mob boss, and he goes into the witness protection program, and they move him to like, I don't remember what it was, but it's like Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's like some
So basically it's like it's like Sylvester Stallone being a mafia tough guy in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and like fighting biker gangs and shit. It's pretty fun, honestly.
Interesting.
I thought it was. I was like, my initial reaction to it was kind of like, whatever. But I started watching it. At first, I was just like, let's watch an episode for a laugh. But then it's like, I kind of like this. So that's where I'm at on it. It's actually, I don't know. It's kind of entertaining, but it could very easily go to shit. And it's honestly not very good. It's just entertaining.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
It's definitely turn your brain off kind of shit. Like, a lot of times if you actually start to like turn your brain on, you're like, that doesn't make sense. Why would he be doing what? Who? Huh? Where's this? What is that? Huh? Like, why would he do that? There's literally a character. Okay, so here's an example of a character not making sense, right? So Sylvester Stallone recruits this guy, this black guy, and his father is one of these like tough black dads that you see in movies and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I didn't raise you to be no criminal. Blah blah blah. You know.
yeah, I know. Exactly
right, that guy. So anyway, so his dad is like, get out of my house until you stop your criminal ways. And so his son leaves.
Right.
And then his son's at the bar, like planning out like their heist or whatever the fuck. And then the dad comes in. He's like, all right, ain't no way my son's going in there alone. I'm going to come help. I'm going to help you guys. It's like, okay. So now he's going to help the criminal enterprise, I guess. And then after the heist, he's like, his son's like, you want a beer, Dad? He's like, this ain't the bonding moment you think it is, son. You a criminal now. And I can't help you. And then he just leaves. It's like, what? I'm very confused about what this guy's position on crime is. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, that is odd.
So, yeah. Strange show. Not very good, but pretty entertaining. And Sylvester Stallone is, I don't know, he's just fun to watch.
I just finished watching American Horror Story 1984.
I liked that one. It's the last one I've watched, though.
I think it's just because I don't like, I typically don't like slasher movies that I didn't like. I didn't really, it's probably my least favorite season. Maybe second least favorite, because Apocalypse is pretty bad as well. Apocalypse is basically just like Coven 2 Electric Boogaloo.
I feel like I have I was watching Eli Roth's History of Horror or whatever, and Stephen King came on and said like the worst horror movie I've ever seen was still pretty fucking good. I don't know. I kind of have more of that approach to things because like
I definitely enjoy
even something that's like kind of dog shit. I'm still just like, yeah, I'm still into this because I just like this genre.
I will definitely do the same thing. It's just, you know, when it comes to like comparing it against other seasons, it definitely wasn't my favorite season.
I mean, the show is like past its prime in terms of like actual quality. And like it's just getting into that fucking space of just like what ridiculous shit can we throw at them? And honestly, like I kind of like that better than actual quality. So to me, this is like the golden years, but to most fans, it's probably like, ugh, this show's really dropped the ball. It's like, yeah, that's when I like it.
Yum. I love low effort cash in.
Yeah, basically, because it's not just any low effort cash in. It's but when it comes to something like this, and the philosophy behind the show has clearly just become like, throw as much bullshit at them as we possibly can. And now it's like ADHD show, which is like, here's another twist that doesn't even fucking make sense. What do you think of that? It's like, I like it. You know,
that's always been an element in these shows. But yeah, like 1984 was just like every episode was like there were 3 revelations and 2 of them made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And one of them would be forgotten by the next episode. It was just this, just like a frenetic mishmash of ideas that never really like even like you watch the whole thing and it never came together cohesively at all.
No. It doesn't even seem to have a central theme or character or anything. It's just, it just like stuff keeps happening and then it's like, it's over. It's like, okay.
What you think about this, TJ? This right here.
Chocolate rain. Some stay dry and others feel the pain. Chocolate rain.
Why does he remind me of Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad? You don't,
he's
you don't
definitely
know who that is, but you know, yeah.
I know. I actually do.
Yeah.
Like Breaking Bad is so popular that I do know who you're talking about, and I've never seen the show, but I know who Gustavo Fring is. So Yeah, no, he does kind of look like Gustavo Fring. You're right.
So the reason Paul's playing this is because I actually told Paul before the show that I actually have never really seen this clip. I'm aware of it the same way he is of Gustavo Fring, but I've never actually watched it or seen it before. So I guess that was a cherry pop moment.
Yeah, man, this is a banger, dude. Chocolate Rain is a fucking eternal banger. The best song written in the last fucking 2 decades right here.
Yeah, I mean, the emotions, you know. Chocolate Rain.
Yeah. It's such a fucking look at the plight of the black man.
Is Chocolate Rain is it diarrhea? What is Chocolate Rain?
Chocolate Rain, TJ.
Uh-huh.
If you listen to this song.
Someone, what the fuck? Get off my wavelength, BR Moore, you fucking weirdo.
Chocolate Rain is a metaphor for being black in America, TJ.
Wow. All right.
They are the chocolate rain. They're coming down out of the sky.
So what you're telling me is woke.
I mean, yeah, this was woke before woke was woke. And this is like the best kind of woke. It's subtle woke. It's not like,
oh yeah. I mean, the subtlety drips like chocolate rain from the
like
heavens.
Chocolate Rain, yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot you could easily like mistakenly listen to this song and think, oh, this is about fudge going on top of a hot like a hot fudge sundae. And you'd be right about that as well. That's why it's such a brilliant song. You can paste your intentions onto it, TJ.
Wow.
Chocolate Rain.
Powerful stuff. Yeah.
A baby born will die before the sin chocolate rain. The school books say it can't be here again. Chocolate rain. The prisons make you wonder where it went.
The prisons wonder where to make it went. Why does he feel the need to let us know that when he turns away from the mic, it's to like
that was part of this meme that you completely missed out on.
Really?
Like part of this meme was I lean away from the mic to breathe became a thing.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, everybody that was a meme for a while.
I don't even lean away from the mic if I like burp or cough or anything.
No, you actually like I've watched you lean into the mic.
Yeah, it's like
if you belch, you get hella close so you can like, yeah.
That wasn't a good one, but still.
Yeah, that was.
If I downed this really fast, maybe.
No, it's not a lip sync. Yeah, I know it kind of looks like it because that voice coming out of a dude that looks like this is very strange. But no, this is actually this guy's name is Tay Zonday.
Oh yeah,
and he actually had like a brief musical career because of this. Like he got I don't think he ever dropped a banger like this, but he definitely like had an album at one point.
Boom, boom, boom. You know, it's weird. Even though I have not seen this, I actually have seen him sing before.
Oh, yeah?
I actually saw him sing the Grinch song. I don't know. He did that like a couple years later or whatever. I guess it was a popular request for him. I was just scrolling through YouTube,
that voice.
And it was just like, huh, that Chocolate Rain guy that I've never even seen Chocolate Rain is going to sing You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. So, all right, I'll check that out. It was pretty good. He did a good job, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was all right. Good old Chocolate Rain, TJ.
Yeah. Chocolate Rain. You know what's better than Chocolate Rain, though?
What's better?
This Asian dude cursing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Enough. Stop. Fuck. Oh. Fuck Jesus. Fuck holy shit. Fuck Jesus. Fuck Christmas. Fuck God.
Fuck Christmas?
He said, "Oh fuck Jesus! Oh fuck Christmas! Oh fuck God!" Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was as much as I watched before I was like, I'm pulling this. So what he says from here on, I don't know. Is he going to whip his dick out and hit the machine and make us like edit this clip? I'm not sure. It could happen.
I mean, he's definitely damning the correct. At least his anger is not misplaced like most people's.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, don't fuck God. Because if there is a God, he definitely made that luck that just fucked you in the ass. He made that fucking roulette ball land on black instead of red. So yeah, you're definitely going. At least he knows who to be angry at, you know.
For God's sake, Jesus motherfucker!
For God's sake, Jesus motherfucker!
I love him. I want to take this little Chinese man home and keep him. I want to keep him. I want to give him a little casino to play in, and I want to be able to go any time of day or night and see him in his natural environment because he's a little nugget of gold, TJ.
I know. That's why I pulled this. I was like, man, I've never seen someone curse more entertainingly than this guy.
I love this dude.
I want every one of these curses as like a drop on a soundboard. And I'm not even like a soundboard guy. I don't really do too much of that.
Yeah.
But like if I could have this guy some drops on my soundboard, I'm gonna do it.
You know what I want this guy for?
What?
I want this guy to travel around with me everywhere I go.
Yeah.
And express frustration when I need it done because I'm horrible at it. You know what I mean?
So like whenever you're in line or something and it's taking too long, you just look at him like, go ahead. Jesus motherfucker!
Yeah. I just internalize it. You know what I mean? I'll sit there and like, motherfucker, I turn it inward and I need this guy to just like, you know, to make known my frustration for me.
Fuck off, fuck God, fuck Jesus, enough. Always next door. Fuck you! Fuck your Jesus.
Fuck your Jesus, dude.
Fuck your Jesus. Yeah. Amen. Fuck your Jesus, bro. Next door. Yeah, next door, bitch. You know how it is.
I think he was saying that like the ball always lands right next to what he needs it to land to.
Yeah.
He's pissed. And who knows with these video machines too. That's another thing.
Yeah, I mean, that thing could be programmed to fuck you over.
I mean, they could definitely set the reels too. They set the probability on like an old reeled, you know, one-armed bandit fucking machine. But like these video ones, man, it's just like you've given over all the control to them, man.
Oh yeah.
They can just like simulate odds now. They can just decide like this person, like when you walk in, you're tagged. You know, it's like this person will win if they play. This person won't.
Roger Stone says there's a demonic portal above the Biden White House that the media refuses to cover.
Why do they always like this is something that always bugs me about the right wing because they're always trying to like make these insinuation about left-wing politician, and really there is no left wing in this country, by the way. I understand that. We're just
by their own rhetoric.
Right, by their own rhetoric.
Because to them it's like the left. And
they
even when they're talking about like the most tepid, bland, center right shit in the world,
they make them sound cool.
I know. I hate it. It's like all the best PR for Biden has been done by his opposition.
Yeah. Just like, man, I know this isn't true, but if there was a demon portal above the White House, like holy fucking shit, that'd be the most amazing thing ever.
And you know, you might think at first like he's speaking metaphorically. No. So he was asked about if he believed anything supernatural. He said, "So I was skeptical about it, but I looked at the photos. Also, there's a live cam where you could actually see in real time, and there does appear to be something above the White House. At first you say, maybe it's a reflection. Maybe it's an aerostat balloon. Maybe there's a logical explanation. I think that a demonic portal opened above the White House around the time Biden moved in. This was brought to my attention by a Christian who lives in North Florida, who sent me a bunch of documents and also a bunch of notations from the Bible about portals." We've lost our minds, folks. We're gone. We're gone.
I mean, this is Roger Stone, though.
Like, we're flatlined to the point. But, like, the fact that someone can say this and not be like, okay, I'm calling the men with the straitjackets in, and they're going to take you to a nice place where you can't hurt yourself or anybody else. You know?
I mean, yeah. Roger Stone has always been insane. Like, that's the sad thing about Roger Stone is he's this huge conspiracist. And I think he's correct about some things, but because he says shit like there's a demon portal above the White House, you know, people like this whole story is just about Roger Stone's crazy. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean everything that comes out of his mouth is incorrect. Like the dude definitely has some conspiracy theories, and in my opinion, that are I mean, he's obviously a big JFK conspiracist.
Conspiracy laden Paul.
I'm just saying, like the whole JFK thing, there's a lot of shit that people don't know about. Like if you ask your average person about the JFK assassination, like most of them will tell you like, oh yeah, like maybe it happened in Texas and Lee Harvey Oswald. That's about all they know. Like they don't know about a lot of the facts of the case, and there are still a ton of facts of the case that aren't released for whatever reason. Like
that was pretty,
Congress passed a law.
It is pretty shitty that yeah, I mean, a law was passed that said all the documents have to be released by a certain date. The date comes and goes, and presidents are just like, no, we're pushing that back. It's like, so you don't have to follow the law because there was a law. So, yeah, I probably should release the stuff in accordance with the law. You being president and all.
But yeah, no.
But yeah, that's Trump pushed it back, and now Biden has pushed it back again. We don't know when they're going to actually release it, if ever.
Do you believe in any conspiracies, TJ? Do you have any conspiracy theories you lend credence to?
I think there is one. I forget what it is though. I mean, I don't dismiss anything unless it's like flatly like, okay, that's not even according to the laws of physics or whatever. But like, I think there is one that I kind of believe. I mean, the Epstein thing, I think everyone has like some fucking pretty severe, like, what? No. So I don't even really count that. But there was another one that I started to fucking kind of be like, huh. But I can't remember what it is. If the little bell in my head rings, I'll let you know. But
yeah, I
know there is one other one.
I mean, like in the JFK assassination, let me tell you a fact, and this is just a fact. This is not a conspiracy theory. There's documentation proving this. Did you know that Lee Harvey Oswald was a CIA agent who at one point defected to the USSR at the time and then was allowed back into the country, no questions asked, in the months before he killed President Kennedy? Does that change the way you feel about the Kennedy assassination at all?
I feel like I have heard that before. I feel like they covered some of this. I feel like Stephen King actually wrote about some of this stuff in one of his books when he had a guy going back to stop the Kennedy assassination, and there was like a pretty long conversation in the book between the two characters of like, okay, but if I'm going to stop the Kennedy assassination, like, do we even really know what happened with the Kennedy assassination? Because like, there's a lot of fucking, discrepancies. And so they had like a long discussion about like, okay, can we stop it? And, I think Stephen King's character in the book basically comes to the conclusion that, Oswald was like a Soviet sort of working with the Soviet Union or whatever. So
the idea is because the thing that's most startling about like what we do know about,
and then of course Oswald, there's the Oliver Stone movie where there's a lot of stuff in there that of course has I think actually is probably at least partially responsible for the fact that a third of the country is like, I think the CIA did it.
Well, I mean, if you watch that movie.
And then, of course, there's people who think the mob did it, too. So
there's very little about that movie that is actually called into question when you look at the available facts. That movie is just, I mean, there are some, I guess there's probably some elements of it that are
I've seen some interesting debunks of some of the claims in there. The thing I found most compelling and a piece of evidence I always hear people talk about is the way Kennedy's head moves. But I pretty much saw like with physics, like if you shoot a watermelon, it moves towards you. Because when you fucking have a solid object and put a hole in it, it creates a little fucking vortex. So it sucks air and it propels the head actually towards the bullet. So big, like, because we see in movies and it just kind of makes sense. Like, oh yeah, you get shot, you fall. But honestly, if you shoot, when you shoot someone, usually there's no momentum in either direction. They just collapse, because it's a puncture. It's like a quick thing. But
what's the point of pushing back the release if there's nothing fishy there?
There's definitely something. I mean, there's definitely something fucking fishy. I mean, I don't know. Paul on the last episode is like, you know what it is. They're trying to fucking, that they fucking had a hand in it. And maybe they did. But I don't know for sure if that's what it is. Because there's a number of things.
Like what? Like what else what else other than implicating elements inside the United States government and the assassination would they even want to hide it for? Like if it was a Soviet agent, oh fucking well, it was a Soviet agent. Like we're already mortal enemies of the post-Soviet Union.
I mean, maybe there's stuff in there that shows that like forces within the government fucking did some dark and creepy shit. The investigatory phase or something like that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, because if that's true, and that's in the documentation that Kennedy was killed, and there's probably some kind of national interest reason for which Kennedy was killed. Kennedy was digging into this, or Kennedy was that. Like I really don't understand. Like if it was some foreign government, like why not? Why would they bother not releasing it? If there, it has to be that Lee Harvey Oswald was part of the fucking CIA and was acting on CIA orders, or helped facilitate some other entity like the mafia to put in place the right, whatever it was. There was collusion on an intelligence scale, at the very least. Like the facts, in my opinion, they bear that out, if nothing else. Like maybe he wasn't capped by somebody standing on the grassy knoll. Maybe it wasn't like multiple shooters or whatever. But the idea that the CIA isn't involved when a CIA double agent, which is clearly that's the thing that's startling about it. It's not that he defected to the USSR. It's that he just appears back in the United States. Like if you defect to the USSR, you're deported from the United States.
Yeah,
but they won't allow you through customs at any point in the United States. And this dude he's back in the US, but he's working for like an anti-Castro group or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like he's clearly a CIA asset. And that's the dude that kills the president. Like that to me, like unless you want to say like, oh, he was that and just went crazy and acted on his own. I don't think so.
I mean, it could also be the case. It could also be the case that, he was over there, he defected, but then it turns out the defection wasn't real, so they let him back here. But then it turns out the defection actually was real because, these intelligence agencies play a lot of fucking mind games with each other. Like we know they do that shit.
Well, they're in competition too.
Right. But they're also incompetent. I mean, like if you listen to some of the CIA plots to kill Castro, a lot of them are like just comically inept.
Oh yeah, they were Castro
so it could be that maybe what's being hidden from us is not like some sort of like nefarious scheme to kill Kennedy. It could just be like disgusting, gross incompetence that makes us look like fucking complete idiots.
Well, either way, the CIA was involved, whether it helped in the planning or it just like dropped the ball completely. The CIA is involved, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because there's a cover up after the fact.
Well, and so, even if the CIA wasn't involved in the assassination, they were definitely involved in the afterwards. So
right. So like there would be no point to covering it up if it was something that didn't involve the United States government acting against itself.
But like the thing about it is like if the CIA was directly responsible for Kennedy's assassination in any way, shape, or form, whether through negligence or through malice or whatever,
right?
If that was the case, it beggars belief that there would even be documents that existed to that effect. Like all that shit should have just been destroyed, right?
I mean, maybe like that's also a question, is like when they do release whatever it is that they release, is it a comprehensive collection, or was
what mechanism truly holds their feet to the fire to give
but
us
they had
everything?
to sending coded letters and having documents and stuff. Like there's always a bureaucracy in these agencies.
Yeah.
And so and you gotta, especially during the Kennedy years or whatever, this is pre-internet, pre anything, you know what I mean? Like there's gonna be paperwork about it for sure. Whether or not all that paperwork was kept or is genuine or whatever, that's the question. But yeah, why did Jack Ruby kill him though? I mean,
that to me, I honestly feel like if these documents are going to show that the death of somebody was planned by the CIA, I almost feel like it's more likely to be that.
Mob?
No, to be that the Oswald's fucking death was a
government op,
right? They didn't want him to go to trial.
Well, he was a government
fucking probably because of that. Right. So they don't want him to go. Okay. So like one of your own just shot the president. Like what even if you're not involved at that point, aren't you going to want to be like, we cannot have this. We cannot have a national trial with all eyes on this motherfucker who used to work for us, or maybe still does. So like, it makes a lot of sense at that point to be like, nope, he's dead. And the guy that fucking shot him is dead. Closed loop. Like it's way convenient, like come on. Like that to me, I almost feel like there's stronger. That's another thing that could be in the fucking document, or maybe both those things are in the document, or maybe it's something we can't even fucking imagine. It could be something fucking totally wild and off the wall.
Yeah.
That's just like, what? Like something that nobody saw coming.
Well, it clearly is. He was all wrapped up in.
Oh shit! Maybe it's to protect fucking Kennedy. Maybe it's like we looked into Kennedy's, underage harem or whatever the fuck,
He
was
all wrapped up for that
reason.
He was like Oswald was all wrapped up with these like radical pro-Soviet leftists.
Got here late. What's on the horizon regarding JFK? Just a quick recap. There are some documents. Congress passed a law, I think back in 92 or somewhere whereabouts, where they were supposed to release all documents pertaining to the JFK assassination. But the Trump administration let the deadline go on by and said, no, we're delaying the release of the final batch of documents until this time. And now that time has come. Joe Biden has once again pushed it back and said, no, we're not going to release it until.
And the excuse that's given is that it has demonstrable. It could do demonstrable damage to United States national.
Right. They're not even
image.
They're not even denying that basically like there is something in these documents they don't want the public to know. Like it's not even like they're not even being coy about it. Like they're kind of almost like preparing us for something like, okay, we'll show you the documents, guys, but you ain't gonna like it. So it's like, okay, what's in the fucking documents, bro? I don't know what's in there. I have some speculation. Paul obviously feels more confident in his predictions, but I have no idea. I don't even know if they're ever going to actually release it, or if they're.
I think
going to push it back ad infinitum or what. But
how do you feel about 9/11, TJ? Do you think 9/11, so? Correct me if I'm wrong. A short recap of the official story of 9/11, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So a bunch of Saudi-born radicals.
I might as well just put us full screen at this point, right?
Yeah. A bunch of Saudi-born radicals under orders from Osama bin Laden, a Saudi-born radical himself.
Yeah.
Infiltrate the United States. Get their pilot's licenses, or a couple of them had to get their pilot's license. They get prepared, and they pull and they get on several flights, and they manage to hijack those flights with box cutters.
Yeah.
And the plan is to fly those 3 planes into the Pentagon, the World Trade Center, or it's 4 planes, sorry, the World Trade Center and the White House.
Right.
They succeed in 3 out of 4. They get 2 planes into the World Trade Center. They get 1 plane into the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
The one on the way to the White House is counter hijacked by a group of heroic passengers.
Right.
And the plane crashes rather than gets to where it goes because they're able to kill the guy that's flying it or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? So that's basically that's the official story of what happened on 9/11.
Right.
Right. And that's the widely believed story of that's why, why it happened.
Yep.
Do you think that is the truth?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
So you have no suspicion whatsoever.
I mean, I think with any sort of event of earth-shattering significance, like you have to have a healthy amount of like, but like, I don't really see too many pressing reasons to question that narrative. I guess you're implying that you do. So like, give me an example of like something about this doesn't pass the smell test to Paul's ego.
Okay. So here, there were, and then this is truth. This is documented fact. There were exercises in the months leading up to 9/11 about people hijacking jetliners and flying them into the Pentagon,
right?
Or flying them into the World Trade Centers or whatever. They actually ran national exercises where air traffic controllers and this, that, and the other thing would be told this is happening. And on the day of 9/11, the response was delayed because many of the air traffic controllers thought that it was another exercise. And that allowed these planes to get to their targets rather than be shot down by jets. Because if you would assume that this should be impossible within the United States, you'd be absolutely correct. A jetliner can't even go anywhere near as fast as the jets that can respond to it. It took like an hour and change for these jets to do a big loop and come back and hit their targets. And only one of them was shot down, in my opinion. Only one of them doesn't hit the target. That's unthinkable, according to our own internal security apparatus. Like as soon as one of these jets goes off course, everybody knows about it and all the alarms go off and shit. But somehow they were allowed to get to their targets and fly into buildings. There already been exercises, so it's not like they were. I assumed on 9/11 they were just flabbergasted by the very idea. Like nobody thought that they're going to do this. No, in the months leading up to it, they were preparing them for this, and it still happens.
Yeah, I mean, well, it sounds like that maybe the preparation was part of the problem. But I mean, here's the thing: like we had intelligence reports come in that said terrorists are planning to use planes to attack, monuments and key things around America. Like that was part like this. There's like we know that these documents were. I mean, George W. Bush was briefed on this shit.
Right.
George W. Bush was briefed, so we know that there was actually some forewarning of this. Like the intelligence community had put forth, like, "Hey guys, they're plotting something with this." And
they were watching several of the hijackers.
But here's the thing: like the plan, not that sophisticated. People forget that like plane hijackings used to be very fucking common in America.
Yes,
like there was tons of hijackings in America, but they always held the people ransom. It was always a ransom thing. Release these political prisoners. Do this. Right. There'd never been a thing where, so like the reason that people were cooperative with the terrorist hijackers is because like, oh, well, they're going to hold us ransom, which is obviously they're terrified, but like, you're probably going to get out of this alive. Most of the time, that's how it ends.
Right.
Someone's released or something's negotiated or, the last, worst case scenario, they have to fucking, shoot these guys. And then, you'll probably still survive. So I don't know. Someone in the chat said, Paul thinks the government's malevolent. TJ thinks it's incompetent. I think that's a pretty fair summation. I'm sure you also agree the government's incompetent, but I think they're more incompetent than they let on. Because like there was a dude just a few years ago some crazy dude jumped the fence at the White House, ran into the White House, and got like, a few rooms deep in that motherfucker. And I'm like, that shouldn't be able to happen. But you know what? It can, because all of this security apparatus and all of this like notion of invincibility, like, man, we could fucking blah, blah, blah. There's like human beings are just incompetent, and we're not nearly as fucking like a fortress as we think we are. Yeah. Like there's a big exaggerated swinging dick of America. And it's like, yeah, this is our big swinging dick. But really it's like this thing.
Here's another problem that I have with it.
So I don't know. I feel like a lot of the stuff for me can be explained away through just like the sheer incompetence of the government.
Sure.
And just the sheer incompetence of human beings in general. And like, we're not great thinkers on our feet a lot of the time, especially when we're in a routine and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, something's different from the routine.
So here's what you're saying then, because if you're saying that it was incompetence that allowed 9/11 to take place in the way that it did,
yeah,
then what you're saying ultimately is that the people that have the most power in this country incompetently tripped and fell into a $1 trillion windfall, because rich people got ultra rich, and the people that happened to be in office at the time that this happened were connected directly to industries that got a literal windfall from the wars that came after it. It gave us a reason to massively invade the Middle East. We were lied to from the very fucking jump about what was going on, like as far as Osama bin Laden's position and shit were. I mean, there were fantastical lies told about Afghanistan. Remember the Tora Bora Fortress or whatever? That one always gets me, because if you were alive at the time that this happened, you remember it. There was a fucking mountain in Afghanistan that was hollowed out and it was like a fucking Bond villain base, basically. Filled with terrorists and missiles and tanks and defenses. And Osama bin Laden was down in the bowels of this thing, far from any missile strike or whatever the fuck. And that's what we were up against. That never existed. So we hear about that. Then we get into Afghanistan, and then it's like, oh, it were Saddam Hussein what done it. We got to invade over there too. And Saddam Hussein actually hated the organization that American security apparatus called Al-Qaeda, and was actively like he was kicking whenever they popped up in his country, he literally kicked them out or killed them. Like he was rounding them up and sending them to prison en masse and shit. So like this, it was just used. Now you say like, oh, okay, so they took advantage of a situation.
Right.
A lot of the people that were in power during 9/11 were Straussian neoconservatives. Leo Strauss was the father of neoconservatism. And one of the tenets of neoconservatism was that in order to get a paradigm shift, there has to be some great big unifying disaster, a Pearl Harbor. They call it a Pearl Harbor-like event that coalesces the different political angles in America into one which supports war. And then while all these dudes are in power in America, 9/11 happens. And their response to it is to give a giant fucking check to all their fucking defense contractor and oil contractor buddies. That just, it would be like if you tripped and accidentally landed on a fucking winning lottery ticket that had flown out somebody's window. You know what I mean? Like that to me is implying an amount of luck that's just absurd, unless they allowed it to happen. Well, unless it was something they were aware of, they knew that this plot was going on, and they're like, hey, if we let this happen, if we let them knock down a couple of fucking buildings, we can do whatever the fuck we want. So just let it go. I think that's what happened.
Ferengi rule of acquisition number 34. War is good for business. Ferengi rule of acquisition number 35. Peace is good for business. And really, when it comes, the ruling class is really going to take whatever situation happens and turn it to their absolute advantage. Now, do I think that there was always a plan to get us into Iraq or Afghanistan? Well, they really wanted to go to Iraq. Afghanistan was just a little stopover. I think there was probably a plan to take us into Iraq that didn't involve anything like a 9/11. But then when it happened, and maybe they did ignore intelligence or, do something to kind of like put the thumb on the scales. I don't know.
Right.
But when that happened, I think they said, oh, this is even better. We're under attack. But if they really wanted to gift wrap to them, there's a few things they could have done a lot differently, Like they could have made it seem like the attack came directly from Iraq. Like if they're going to stage the whole attack, be like, Iraq attacked us. Let's go to Iraq,
They did.
No, did. I mean, they tried to, but it was so like post hoc. It was obviously cobbled together after the fact. Like it wasn't.
It was enough to convince America to fucking stand behind that war.
Yeah, I guess, but like it was pretty fucking piss poor. Like
I would have told. No,
you could have definitely baked it in a lot fucking neater into the very initial story.
We were told that it was very likely possible. Here's some of the things we were told about Iraq. Very likely possible that Saddam Hussein is actually hiding Osama bin Laden, that he was smuggled into Iraq, and that Saddam Hussein is hiding him. Saddam Hussein would have fucking slit Osama bin Laden's throat if he could get his hands on him. He was an ideological enemy of Saddam Hussein.
I don't know if the media was still like maybe a little bit not bought off at the time, but like a lot of the media was reporting like, hey, a lot of the stuff the government's telling us is not true, guys.
The mobile weapons labs, the nukes, the fucking, he has drones that could drop dirty biological material on New York.
Clearly the government's capable of like mass deception. If the argument is like the government lied to take us into war, I can't bring any contention to that.
Capitalizing though on that catalyzing event that a lot of them were indoctrinated to believe was necessary in order for them to do exactly what they did.
Did they capitalize on 9/11? Absolutely. Did they orchestrate 9/11? I'm unconvinced.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree that it's not something that I can prove with 100%. It's definitely not something that's self-evident.
Well, I'll tell you this, Paul. If it was uncovered that some version of that was true, especially I think the most likely scenario to me, if I was going to place like likelihood on it, is they saw these intelligence reports, they saw what was going to happen, and they did the bare minimum sort of like pretense of trying to stop it, but really they were like, we should just let this happen because this is going to be a great catalyst for our, campaign of military aggression that we want to do.
Right.
So, I mean, I could see that, but I don't know. There's no proof. So,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just, to me, I think that like a lot of us are just gonna like, there's no proof to the grave. You know what I mean? When it comes to like the government, just to me, the government's been caught orchestrating world events so many fucking times that it's not like they've been literally caught doing exactly the type of shit that I'm talking about.
But like, I mean, so like
the Gulf of Tonkin was used to get us into war with Vietnam. That was a complete false flag attack that never happened.
That did happen. Yeah, but we know that now.
Right.
Like we have that evidence,
It's just like they've done it in the past. We've caught them several fucking times orchestrating world events, Iran-Contra, the fucking trading of weapons to both sides to feed the fucking conflict, the installation of the Shah as the fucking leader of Iran. All that shit is all public knowledge.
We know that Colin...
probably not.
We know that Colin Powell lied to take America into war. We know that he presented us with photoshopped slides of military installations that were not there. So like we were demonstrably lied to about so many things going to war, and millions of people died. So to me, it's like whether they did 9/11 or not, like more people died in the Iraq war than died in 9/11, and it's provable that they lied to get us there. So like to me, that's already a bigger scandal than if they did do 9/11 in the fucking first place. So I mean, we already got them with their pants down. People just don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's probably true. I think that is actually true for sure. People definitely don't give a shit.
I mean, they do, but really they give a shit like they give a shit about the season finale of their favorite show or something. They don't, they're not like, it doesn't occur to them like, I'm living in this show. I should probably care more than I do. But
there's just there's a lot of there's a difference to me in the government or elements within the government capitalized to a great extent on the tragedy that was 9/11, and the government planned it or allowed it to happen in order to capitalize on it.
Here's the thing: whether 9/11 happened or not, we were going to fucking Iraq. They entered the White House wanting to go to Iraq. They were going to find some kind of fucking reason to do it.
Right.
So
but
whether
it was just handed one on a fucking silver platter is
well, I mean, you're right to be suspicious, because if a guy's if there's a huge life insurance policy taken out on a guy's wife and then she dies, like a week later, people are like, huh. So it's definitely kind of like a okay, but it's not proof. Like, you couldn't convict a guy on that. So
there were also these huge like giant hedge funds. Several like hedge funds sold off and a massive amount of airline stock on 9/10. That's another one that we just kind of like go like, oh wow, they just made a lucky bet. It's just like, no, you know what I mean? Like, why did that happen? That's in the public record as well.
I bought Disney stock when it was $80, like, and it shot way the fuck up to like 180 or something.
Right, but the day before the airlines take the most massive hit in the fucking industry,
you can have a lucky bet. It's not.
They just, oh man, woo! Lucky the leprechaun visited me last night, I guess. Because like if 9/11 hadn't happened, my ass would be fucking exposed to the elements, man. But damn, good thing I was just like, what's gonna happen tomorrow? The airlines are gonna be shut down for a month to investigate a horrible hijacking. Pull all our shares and have a bunch of other hedge funds do it too. It's like,
yeah,
come on.
I mean, who knows?
I don't believe for a second. It's just like Nancy Pelosi making all the right.
See, the problem is, like, I do believe that there are crazy coincidences out there, and that's why you can't convict someone of a crime on coincidence.
That's a coincidence that strains credulity to me. That on 9/10, a bunch of fucking billionaires all decided simultaneously to pull their money out of the airlines. And then on 9/11, it just becomes literally the most fucking sound financial decision in American history. They preserved billions of dollars of their own equity by doing it.
Well, I'm sure we'll bring this topic back up, but we're gonna move on. So this is another disconcerting sort of story here. Texas Attorney General's office sought state data on transgender Texans.
Nothing to see here, TJ.
Houston? Look,
yeah. We just want to know. We just want to know how to give these people the care that they deserve, TJ, here in Texas.
I'm sure
we want to know where they are so we can make sure that they are taken care of in the ways that the trans community needs, TJ. Nothing sinister going on here.
Employees at the Texas Department of Public Safety in June received a sweeping request from Republican Attorney General Ken Paxton's office to compile a list of individuals who had changed their gender on their Texas driver's licenses and other department records during the past 2 years. Need total number of changes from male to female and female to male for the last 24 months, broken down by month. The chief of the DSP's driver's license division emailed colleagues in the department on June 30th, according to a copy of a message obtained by the Washington Post through a public records request.
Spooky.
We don't need DL/ID numbers at first, but we may need them later if we are required to manually look up documents. What are you guys doing? What is this for? Why? I want an explanation about this. Not that I'll get a real one. But
you
want to know? All right. You asked me earlier, is there a conspiracy theory? I believe that there are forces in Texas gearing up to mass imprison trans people and do like a Nazi Holocaust thing. There you go. There's one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I believe the 9/11 one more than that, but
no, I don't. I think this is way more. And also, it hasn't happened yet, so we can still stop it. So let's not let them. Let's not undo it.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe that this sort of thing is already being codified by maybe not state governments, because obviously Texas would just have it already, and it wouldn't even be a news story. But the federal government already knows all this shit. Like they're already, they're tracking this, even if not directly. Indirectly, they could probably run a search and find most trans people that live in the United States. Like, I believe that.
You know who I think probably has better records than the government is Amazon.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's part of the government record that I'm talking about. The government's collusion with like shopping play like Amazon, or like information technology things like Google or Twitter or whatever the fuck. They use all of that and collect and collate all of that so that they can run a search if they need to. And if somebody sat down at that fucking terminal that Edward Snowden told us about, where you can just basically search for any information in a broad way and get a list of names of people that hit the search, I guarantee if you sat down at that terminal and typed in transgender, you'd probably net 98% of the trans people in America. I don't think there's any way to be under the radar. Your fucking medical records are subject to scrutiny. Your shopping habits are all your metadata, where you travel to. Like your phone is on when you go down to get the sex reassignment surgery. That data is collated and kept. You know what I mean? So I think that in a broad way, the government already knows where all the trans people are. But the fact that it's Texas, and the fact that it's, Texas is yokel alley, man. This is like a place where a lot of the white folks in Texas are the worst type of white folks that you hear described, like the kind of like the stereotype of like a chaw chewing, 10-gallon hat wearing, bow-legged racist piece of fucking shit. Like there's a lot of that sentiment in Texas. It's a very strong all throughout the South.
Well, that's what concerns me, because, like, here's a state that's already passing a lot of very draconian laws. They start by being like, think of the children. And it's like, we got to stop the children from transitioning and whatever. And then it's like, oh, well, up to 21. And then it's like, oh, well, at all. And then it's like, oh man, we gotta do something about these people. They're mentally ill. We're going to bring them to psychiatric facilities, and then the psychiatric facilities are just gonna be like thinly veiled re-education camps.
See, I don't believe that's going to happen, because it would require these people to spend tax money on something that isn't a kickback or a giveaway to one of their friends.
That's true. Once again,
have to build a psychiatric.
This might be an instance where the incompetency of the government comes in handy. But if they could figure out a way to make a few bucks off it, and honestly, like they'd probably be like, oh yeah, we're gonna put their psychiatric care over to this mental health company that my buddy just started, and we're gonna funnel all kinds of money there too. So.
Yeah, I could definitely see, this being nefarious because to me, it's nefarious to have your, to be tracked by a state entity for any reason. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not suspected of criminal activity, there should be no arm of the state that needs to know that you're trans.
I don't even know if it's like, I think at this point, the government doesn't even really need to do much of the intelligence gathering. They could probably just buy it from these same companies that are selling it to every advertiser under the sun.
Right. Like, which is why I think that this might be just a yokel that doesn't understand that they could probably just get that information if they asked the fucking local chapter of the FBI or whatever the fuck. This is probably just that. This is probably just chatter, like some fucking middle manager or whatever at the AG's office needs information on. Or maybe he's gonna do like a media campaign that he wants numbers to mention or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like why does the attorney general need this information in particular? That's pretty strange. Fake psychic partner sentenced in $3 million fraud scheme. A South Florida woman claimed to be a psychic has been sentenced to federal prison along with her partner for conning a woman out of more than $3 million. So this is one of the oldest scams in the book, of course, is I'm psychic and I'm going to tell you the future. I remember I saw a story. Obviously, this one must be a great deal more sophisticated given the amount of money lost. But a lot of times these psychics, they'll tell you, like, you need to make an offering of money to the gods. We put money in an envelope and then we burn it. And then, using some sleight of hand, of course, the envelope is replaced at the appropriate moment. And the psychic pockets the supposedly burned and destroyed money,
Sure.
Obviously, this is a little bit more sophisticated than that. So let's find out what happened here. A South Florida woman claiming to be a psychic has been sentenced to federal prison along with a partner for conning a woman out of more than $3 million. The fraud ran for several years and only ended after the victim could no longer afford to pay money cleansing rituals. Oh, I think it actually was that. Wow, they got her to fucking cough up $3 million that way. Samantha Stevens, a self-professed spiritual consultant, was sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in prison in October. Michael Paul Guzman was sentenced last month to 3 years. Both have pleaded guilty to money laundering, blah, blah, blah. According to the documents, Stevens was portraying herself as a psychic and fortune teller in 2012 when she met the victim in Miami. She gained the victim's trust and convinced her that a curse had been placed on her and her family. Stevens claimed she needed to perform rituals on large sum of money to lift the curse. The victim was told that failing to do so would result in harm to her and her family. Stevens and Guzman spent the victim's money on vehicles, property, and casinos, gambling, officials said. The relationship between Stevens and the victims lasted until 2016 when Stevens cut off communication after the victim no longer could pay for the rituals. Once Stevens severed the relationship, the victim contacted federal law enforcement. Oh, my God.
You know what's interesting to me about this is that, like, on a certain level, the only reason that this is even a case is because it was $3 million. But this is totally legal. Like, there are psychics all over the fucking place in America on the highways and shit.
Yeah.
You go in there and they're scamming you. They're
right.
telling you that they know shit that they don't know, and that you're giving them money to tell you it. That's exactly what was going on here. And they'll claim the same shit. Oh, you got a dark cloud hanging over you. You got a curse hanging over you. Whatever the fuck. Give me this much money and I can lift it. And it's totally fucking allowed to go on and legal. But because these ladies fucking found the big whale and they actually impacted a member of the fucking Blue Bloods, it becomes a case.
Yeah.
Then it's illegal. So it's illegal to steal from somebody that's rich, not from somebody that's poor, is basically.
Yeah, because, if you're just like a normal schlub that falls for the local psychic, they're going to rip you off just as surely as these people did. So
not only that,
why the fuck should they be equally penalized,
The dude that you went to probably had a big neon sign out in front of his house that said psychic. Like, it's basically like that sign says scamming people here, and nobody's ever shut him down.
That's true. I love how the news actually said like fake psychic. Yeah. Yeah. Fake psychic sounds redundant as fuck. Don't you think? It does, doesn't it? Because there's no real psychics. So yeah, until you can prove to me that there's an actually psychic person, And hey, if you want to if you have like your eccentric friend or whatever, that's like, I'm a little bit psychic. There's no harm in that. I'm talking about these people.
I'm full-blown psychic.
All right. Predict something.
What do you mean predict something? It doesn't work that way, TJ.
All right. How does it work?
Revelation comes to me on its own schedule.
All right. I see. What are you eating? It sounds like
Skittles.
jelly beans. Oh,
Skittles.
man. I was close. Skittles are Skittles are the same thing as jelly beans, really.
They're just really good jelly beans.
Aren't Skittles just like better jelly beans with a slightly different kind of shell?
Yeah, they got like a hard, crackly shell on them, like an M&M's shell, but inside is jelly bean.
Yeah, that's some good shit. God, I want some Skittles now. Oh, well.
No, I love like mentalism. I've always been fascinated by the game of
I have a little book on that, or I did at one point. I don't know if I have it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've read your tarot on numerous occasions, and I learned
you're very good.
Yeah, I learned to do that back in high school. I just got fascinated with mentalism, and an aspect of mentalism is choosing a medium. And my favorite medium to use is tarot.
Well, it plays to your strengths as a storyteller because you can craft a story.
And it's funny, man. The more often than not, no matter the skepticism level of a person I do a reading for, pretty uniformly people will go like, "That's kind of eerie," or like, "Wow, that's crazy," because I was just thinking, because you paint in such broad strokes that people apply their own.
Right. Well, people fill in the blanks. I honestly feel like, I have a deck of tarot cards, in the drawer right next to me, and I'll consult them sometimes. And it's not because I believe that they have some sort of mystical power. It's because, like, there's a certain power in symbology, and there's something about the way that the cards can be used for introspection. And if you do a reading that just doesn't feel like it's very insightful, you just fucking shuffle the deck and do it again. It's like, oh wow, yeah, I'm making all these connections I didn't, make before or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, because like when you're presented with this image, here's a card that means this and it's in this position. So how could that apply to your life? And it forces you to think about your life and whatever the subject is in a new light, because you're trying to reconcile it with this card. And so through that, you can kind of use it as an introspective tool to gain insights into things. And as long as you view it that way, I think it's pretty interesting and like healthy. If you start to view it as like, I am communicating with the spirit world, then, you probably need to set it down.
Yep. There's like a whole kind of system of testing the waters when it comes to, because basically the thing that makes it fun to me is that it's limited by your ability to spin the cards and your ability to extract information from another person. Now, when I'm reading for somebody that I know, obviously you've got a leg up doing that. But I use the same tactic as somebody that I don't know. In fact, I read, I can't remember who it was, but I read for somebody I didn't know at you guys' wedding. I think I might have met your uncle for the first time, and he might have got a reading for me or something. I can't remember. I did readings there. And, you have to ask questions that don't seem to reveal a lot, but the way that people answer them can reveal a lot. Like if you ask a person if they're married, that's such a fucking loaded question, because a person will tell you a fuck ton about themselves in just answering yes to that question.
Well, or no. The thing is, if you get a person talking, like most people will just kind of spill their guts. And even if they don't intend to, they're going to tell you a million things that, you can just tell like what's their tone of voice when they're talking about this subject or that subject. And it's like, oh, okay, I can see how this person feels about these things.
Facial expression, eye contact, all these, it's all, like it's established science, reading people.
Yeah. And, I'm pretty good at that. You're pretty good at that. And you're very good at fucking crafting a narrative. So like the readings I got from you were always really good. So, and there's a great, there's a thing in the mentalism book I used to have where you would basically, there was like a little code in the way that people would talk. Like they would be, I don't remember exactly how you do the trick, but it was like, and it was presented as a magic trick, but you could easily use it to fucking fool people into thinking you're psychic, which is usually what's done. Usually they're magicians that are just dishonest. But basically you have a person that you call, and you're conveying information to that person via how you address them. Like basically like I'm calling my friend John, but if their name is, if you call them and say, hey John, da 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 da, well, John is not their real name. It's one of a series of codes.
Right.
And and then it's like, so it seems like, oh wow, how could their friend have, known this stuff?
Yeah.
Well, it's because they've been cued in with a secret code that you're just like unaware of,
Right. That type of mentalism is explored in that movie Nightmare Alley that came out a couple years ago or a year ago. It's about that type of mentalism.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a neat movie if you haven't seen it. I actually watched it last night again for the first time in a while. I'd only watched it when it first came to streaming. And yeah, it's about that type of mentalism and how, if you cross over into doing the whole point of that movie is like the guy's a mentalist, and people always tell him like, people in the industry and the carnies he works with always tell him like, don't do a spook show, like never do a spook show. And what they're saying is stay away from this, like I'm going to conjure your dead relatives shit, because that leads to ruin if you go down that road. Stick to the like basic psychic, just stick to the flim flam. Don't go into the I'm gonna fucking speak to your dead relatives. And he goes there with a rich guy, and that's the whole point of the movie, is like the intertanglement that happens there. But it's a really interesting movie and really covers that exact kind of thing where you have it's basically called Nightmare Alley.
Okay.
It was actually like nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it won, but it was nominated for Best Picture last year, I think.
Oh, really?
If I'm not mistaken. But anyway, yeah, really good movie. There are two people that basically have a whole language among themselves. It's creating an alternate language. Like you create a form of English that has two meanings. One meaning that can be conveyed to the mark, and the other meaning that can be conveyed to, in the case of the movie, somebody that's in the audience pretending to be just an audience member. And that's how you get the hooks in people. So yeah, it really, I think that it's really interesting, but I've never, I don't believe that there's anything fucking mystical or fantastical about it, at least not traditionally metaphysically. I think that there is something mystical about storytelling, and that we're reaching into a part of ourselves that differentiates us as a thinking species, and I like that. But I don't really think that it's like metaphysical or whatever. I think it's just a part of our socialization that's really interesting.
The shared unconscious of human beings.
Yep.
30 years worth of evidence, including DNA, possibly destroyed in NYPD storage facility blaze. This seems tailor-made for conspiracy theory kind of stuff, doesn't it?
I mean, yeah, this whole episode has gone down the conspiracy rabbit hole, but yeah, for sure. I mean, this is another one of those things that, like, is it possible that this thing burned down? Yes, any building can burn down.
Sure.
So you have to, like, as a thinking person, you have to go like, okay, but did this probably benefit, the fucking the whatever it was, the local fucking police department or whatever? Yeah, probably.
I mean, I'm sure in many ways a massive inconvenience, because it's like, oh shit, now this case can't be prosecuted, that case can't be prosecuted. But it makes me wonder, like, are there cases that they didn't want to prosecute that were on those books that, like, oh no, the evidence is destroyed, whoops, you know what I mean?
Right. Or evidence that led to the innocence of a person that's already in jail or that was put to death or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Like
so there's like a lot of that kind of stuff going on too. I wonder if there could be like, hey, I deserve a mistrial because the evidence that could have exonerated me was destroyed through police incompetence. I don't know if you can make a legal case for that. Probably not.
I don't know. Maybe. It depends. I think
I'd have to talk to a fucking lawyer.
One thing that I know about lawyers is you can make a legal case for pretty much anything.
That's true.
That's the evidence. The problem.
It says the evidence goes back a long time, 20 or 30 years. Some of the evidence was also property from Hurricane Sandy as well. Police said they won't know the extent of the damage until the fire is put out, a task the fire department said could take several days. But Hodges said he would estimate that most of the contents are damaged by the fire. The investigation into the bizarre blaze is ongoing. Hodgins said that 8 people, including 3 members of the FDNY, 3 EMS personnel, and 2 civilians suffered minor injuries as a result of the fire. We attempted an interior fire attack, but the members were overwhelmed by the amount of fire, and we had to back all of our firefighters out of the building and go to an exterior attack.
Do you know what happened?
Said,
this is bullshit. I don't buy this. So here's my conspiracy.
All right.
The firefighters went in there to do this internal attack, and all that weed in there that they'd collected was burning, and they got fucking way too high, and they couldn't fight the fire from in there. But they're not going to tell you that.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
You know that there were bales of weed in there, bales of weed, old stinky, dirty 1980s weed, probably.
I think it's weird that nowhere in this article does it mention even a possibility of how this fire started. Like none of those 8 people that were injured in the blaze have any idea how the blaze started.
No electrical fire is, or no arson is suspected or whatever. Yeah, just nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing. Okay.
Just like a bunch of evidence went up in smoke is basically what we get. That's the due diligence of this reporter.
Yeah.
A big giant chunk of evidence.
They don't even address that they don't know. Like they call it like,
nobody asks.
It's bizarre.
Nobody asks. Right. Isn't that fucking crazy? Nobody thinks to ask, like, well, how did the fire start? What kind of fire was it?
All the Epstein evidence was in there. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, yeah, it's an NYPD facility, so there could be a lot of nationally prominent evidence that just went up in smoke, but whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, justice is served, Paul. Justice is served.
For Breonna.
Kenneth Walker, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, wins $2 million. So there you go.
Hey,
there you go.
$2 million. That's
it. I mean, all is right with the world now.
That's
right?
what the life of your significant other is worth.
Yeah. Well, they did kill my my girlfriend, but a few years later, I got $2 million. So I guess it all evens out in the grand scheme of things, you know.
$2 million.
$2 million. $2 million. Cold hard cash.
Justice is served.
You know, I don't know if there is an amount of money that could do it. I feel like the only thing that actually makes, I mean, there's really no making amends for it. But the only thing that even kind of begins to make it right is if you actually kind of like start to like systemically change the policies that led to it happening in the first place.
Not even start, like just immediately reassess the way that fucking law enforcement works in your city.
When I say start, I mean make sweeping changes, right, and then continue to make them as needed forevermore. You know?
And that's not even really restitution. That is just what I think is the bare minimum to show that the system responsible for the death of your loved one is attempting to make sure that it never happens to anybody again. They're taking it seriously, and that her death meant something to them.
Yeah, no, I mean, no system's perfect, okay? I get that. But this is so fucking fucked up and imperfect. And the idea that you can do this and then just like buy your way out of it with a $2 million check is like absurd, ridiculous, and offensive, and go fuck yourself.
Oh, here you go. Go away. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're mad we killed your fucking girlfriend in the middle of the night because we went to the wrong house. Here's fucking $2 million. Get the fuck out of our face. Go
Shut up. Just get out and shut up.
Yeah, it's like Alfred J. Pennyworth or whatever, the local fucking rich guy strolling through town and tossing pennies at people at fucking Christmas time or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Fuck them. Fuck their insinuation that you can put a number on somebody's life. And fuck their complete and utter inability to make changes within their own system to make sure that this doesn't happen to innocent people.
Yeah, I mean, that's
fuck them for not caring about that. Fuck them for not doing anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, as far as I know, any changes that have been made have been pretty superficial. And obviously, these things continue to happen all over the country. So, like, we haven't even begun to address it. Even after all the fucking, the rioting, after all the protests, peaceful and otherwise, still in the same boat, still fucking dealing with the same shit, still seeing instances of police brutality on the fucking daily. The bad apples are everywhere, apparently. Yep. So I don't know. It's just like, who gives a shit? I'm glad the guy got $2 million. I'm glad that like something fucking good happened in his life, but it doesn't even begin to, I mean, it's like a drop in the ocean of what needs to fucking be done to actually have I really don't believe there is any restitution. You can't undo the wrong. No. There's no way. You cannot bring Breonna Taylor back to life, which is what you'd have to do for it to ever be right.
You can show that you're sorry, and you can show that you have actual an intention. Contrition. Right. Yeah. That is that, and that's really all you can give somebody who loses a loved one like this, and they almost never get it. When it very oftentimes it is a public institution that has killed one of their loved ones. Very rarely, if ever, does anybody who loses a loved one like that get anything close to we're sorry. You know what I mean? And actually, like, there's a difference between saying we're sorry and showing that you're sorry. You know what I mean? Showing that you're willing to change whatever it was that went wrong.
Someone who's genuinely sorry for something they've done makes an effort to not do it again.
The Louisville Police Department, when this blew up into a big story, I remember they came out and talked about how they were going to make changes to make sure this doesn't happen to anybody. But I guarantee you not a single fucking change of substance has been made in Louisville. And it'll just continue being a fucking oppressive stormtrooper regime over there. And it won't be long before somebody else is killed. Whether or not the story of it reaches national prominence is the question. I would say probably not.
So Angelo Badalamenti.
Yeah, Angelo Badalamenti. Yeah, TJ said he doesn't know much about this guy.
I'm actually going to use this as an opportunity to go to the bathroom really quick.
Yeah, go for it. But I really love the work that this guy did on Twin Peaks and in David Lynch's stuff. There really are two types of movie people. There are David Lynch fans, and then there are non-David Lynch fans. It really is, in my mind, like, how far do you want somebody to push the dream narrative? And I want them to take it all the way to the bank. I love that type of stuff, and a lot of what makes those movies so impactful is the incredibly haunting soundtracks. And this dude's soundtrack had just as much character as any of the characters in Twin Peaks. One of my favorite, composers working in movies. I wish I had a longer list because he was involved in a ton of different soundtracks over the years, but really is well known as David Lynch's composer. And yeah, he died. I just, like I said, I don't have a fuck ton to say about it. And I know that a lot of people don't like David Lynch or haven't seen those things and whatever. So I don't want to make a big fucking deal out of it. But I did feel like, I should mention it because this is definitely like, I'm not the type of person when a celebrity dies to want to like eulogize them or whatever. But when somebody dies that I really genuinely care about their work, I like to mention it when I can publicly. You know what I mean? And just kind of like as a just as a note, as a memorial to a dude that wrote a lot of fucking amazing music and helped make David Lynch's work a little creepier and a little cooler and a little, I don't know. I just really like it. It's very rare for me to know who wrote the soundtrack.
So I don't know much about him. So it's like when like his music, did he have like a style that was like distinctively like, oh yeah, this is like very this guy,
yeah. I mean, like the Twin Peaks soundtrack is. I'll find one for you and I'll play a little bit of it.
Okay, cool.
I think we could probably get away with a little.
Yeah, I could probably get away with a few seconds at least.
But yeah, I'll find one that I think is typifies how he sounded, kind of this like acid jazz kind of stuff. It's just perfect for if you've seen Twin Peaks. It's it's just perfect for Twin Peaks.
Twin fucking Peaks.
Let's see. Yeah. Oops. God damn it. Sorry, I'm having trouble finding it. There we go. No. Maybe I shouldn't play any of it because it looks like it's
very well guarded.
I guess so. Yeah. Here, I'll try one more time. There we go. So yeah, this is Laura Palmer's theme. I'll play it here in a second. And I'll skip around it a little bit, just maybe to try and give you an idea of the mood of it. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I'm gonna pull it over there. Pull it over to my other screen, and then I'll just reshare here. There we go. So yeah, I'll crank it up. Like very synth kind of music. I'll skip around a little bit here. So you can hear kind of like the So this is the theme for the main, Twin Peaks is about the investigation of the murder of a girl named Laura Palmer, and this is her theme. So, wrapped up in her theme, you can hear just like the mystery of it, the whimsical nature of how she's presented as this, teenage girl in the flower of her youth and all of that. Yeah, I just feel like that this piece of music conveys that perfectly. And every person, not every person, but a lot of different people in situations in the show have their own theme. It was a very theme heavy show. So when they were covering Laura Palmer directly, that was always playing. Let's see, I'll play like the Bookhouse Boys theme. So this is like there's like a secret society called the Bookhouse Boys, who are dedicated to rooting out supernatural evil in the town of Twin Peaks. And this is their theme. Very kind of like heavily edited acid jazz.
Yeah, I like it. I always kind of like the more like strange jazz. I also like doom jazz a lot.
Yeah.
So I might not be the biggest David Lynch fan, but I might actually check out some more of this dude's music to.
I mean, you should
commemorate his death or whatever.
I shit you not, TJ. When you're done, when you're looking for a fucking TV show to watch, even if you don't like David Lynch, I can almost guarantee you'll like Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks is the most digestible that David, especially the original series. Start with that, but it's the most digestible Lynch, in my opinion. For people that don't like Lynch, like Twin Peaks, a lot of people. Like if all you know about David Lynch is trying to watch one of his movies or whatever, like try to watch Twin Peaks. It's really good. It very much reminds me a lot of American Horror Story, in that you never know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? There's no way you could call Twin Peaks knowing nothing about it. It's one of those where your expectations are constantly defied and constantly like forced to readjust to the new reality, and then you throw that away the next episode. You know what I mean? Because a new reality is here. That sort of thing is at the core of Twin Peaks. So you should watch it on Paramount Plus. Yeah, dude, that kind of sucks. I had it on I watched it.
Well, I already have Paramount Plus to watch Star Trek anyway, so.
Well, there you go. Yeah, then dude, next time when you're done with this fucking Stallone one, try like an episode or two or Twin Peaks.
Well, I'm literally watching that one as it comes out, so I'm not binging it or anything. So
yep.
Maybe I can check. Maybe I'll check out Twin Peaks. You know what? I'll tell you what, Paul. I'll make a deal with you if you want.
Okay.
I'll check out Twin Peaks if you fucking watch Breaking Bad. How about that?
Fair. All right, I'll start Breaking Bad.
All right.
I'm actually in need of a new TV show because I just finished up American Horror Story.
I want to see if you hold it in the same esteem as most people. It's kind of hard to believe you wouldn't, because it is really good. But maybe, I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I just bounced. It's not all that weird to me, but I guess it's weird for a lot I bounced off that shit. I watched the first episode, and the first episode of that show is so fucking depressing. It's Walter White telling his family that he's dying of cancer.
Yeah.
And everybody's crying about it. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I can't fucking hang with this. I don't want to feel this way. And so
it's kind of a bleak show, but it also has a lot of like comedy in it. Like a lot of times it almost feels like a fucking sitcom. In fact, there's a YouTube channel that recuts Breaking Bad as a sitcom and puts like a laugh track on it and stuff. And it's not as far off as you might like think. There's a lot of stuff in there that actually is kind of like more played for like laughs, although there is a lot of morbidity to it too.
I guess I got to find out where Breaking Bad lives now. That's another stupid thing about it's Netflix. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So Gabriel Iglesias spent $100,000 to throw his dog a lavish quinceanera. Am I saying that right?
It's a quinceanera.
Quinceanera, complete with outfit changes. All right. Well, look, I love dogs and stuff, and I have nothing against Gabriel Iglesias's dog and all that. And
dude, I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I bet this was one of the most lit parties that's happened this year.
You think so?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Let's see. No.
No, okay,
no,
never mind.
No, it was not. It was not one of the most lit parties ever. It's horrible.
Why is that? Why is it so somber?
Oh, God.
Maybe it's one of those like things where it's about to get lit. You know what I mean? Maybe this is like the lead in before the drop or whatever. And then the dog's that fucking carriage is gonna explode, and the dog's gonna come out wearing a leotard. And
all right, I mean, the dog is old, so I think he's trying to like, you know, say goodbye to the dog with this.
Oh man, yeah,
like, it's like his
so
old.
It's like that's fucked up.
It's like,
I didn't even think about that.
Farewell, doggy. You know,
quinceañeras happen. You know, when you're 10 or 15, and dogs don't really, you know, they don't live much beyond that.
Right. So, you know, I mean, it does look like it got pretty lit at one point. There's like a predator thing with lights on it and some kind of like Rio de Janeiro looking chick.
I went to a couple quinceañeras back when I was in high school, and they were always pretty fucking fun, man. Like there was a lot of like drinking, and
I still feel like it's weird to spend $100,000 on this, but you know, whatever. I can't hate too much. I love dogs, so
I guess so. This is a pretty cute dog too. I love little Chihuahuas. I've got a soft spot in my heart for Chihuahuas, for sure. And Dinor is like 1/4 Chihuahua too, so don't even say you hate Chihuahuas.
I never said I hate Chihuahuas.
Kick your ass.
Marjorie Taylor Greene delivers rousing speech about butt plugs.
This has to be like,
I just want to hear it. I don't even want to fucking.
Yeah, I don't want their fucking commentary. I just want to hear her give a speech about butt plugs.
Let's hear. I mean, it's only 24 seconds long, so it can't be that rousing of a speech about butt plugs. But
I mean, I don't know. Maybe she packs a lot of fucking power into that 24 seconds, you know?
All right. I'm rating this against the best speeches of all time.
By the way, you can pick up a butt plug or a dildo at Target and CVS nowadays. I don't even know how.
Cool. I'm going to go to Target after this.
Yeah, let me go get a butt plug at CVS. I didn't know they carried those.
Sorry, you may still be finishing your dessert. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm sure that you, the congresswoman with like multiple extramarital affairs on her belt, is totally scandalized by butt plugs and dildos. I'm sure that you're deeply offended by that. And I apologize to spoil your dessert, but people somewhere in the country are having fun right now. Doesn't that just make you mad?
By the way, you can buy a butt plug or a dildo at Walmart or CVS these days, you know?
Boo.
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 Boo. Boo. The audience sounds confused and a little bit horrified that she said butt plug on stage.
Yeah, they're just like, can you believe Marjorie Taylor Greene said the word butt plug while I was eating my... You know, like whatever.
No, but this is the state that we're living in right now. And it's so weird.
Yeah, that's wow, what a nightmare, you know?
Yeah, you can get a butt plug at CVS. What a fucking nightmare.
It's like it's like we've died and gone to hell.
What are you gonna tell me next? That like you know, you can get soft serve at various locations, you know? I mean, come on. I can only handle so much disgust in one day. Like, who cares?
I'm so deeply offended.
But there are a group of people, man. They don't ever want that word said out loud, man. You don't say butt plug. You don't say dildo.
Don't say butt plug.
You don't say anything that calls any kind of fucking attention to sexuality.
Yeah, because that's gross. That's why they're mad at her for even saying butt plug there. You know, They don't like it. She's mad about it, but she can't even express her anger because, you know, the second she does, they're like, oh, you shouldn't even say that stuff. It's disgusting.
Butt plug.
Fucking, butt plug. Disgusting and gross. Gross and disgusting.
Butt plugs.
Las Vegas police. Woman who hid Rolex inside genitals was in town for court on prior theft charge. This is our true crime segment, everybody. All right. What's she putting there? A Rolex?
Stuffed a Rolex in her. I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, I mean, a whole ass baby fits down the vaginal.
Yeah,
canal,
you know, I mean, it seems like a Rolex. I mean, I don't know. It seems uncomfortable. You know, it's got a lot of metal parts and stuff. Anyway, she was accused of stealing a Las Vegas hotel guest watch and concealing it inside her genitals Sunday. The Sarah Richards, 33, faces charges of grand larceny and administering a drug to aid in the commission of a felony. A man called 911 from the area hotel on Sunday reporting to report a woman, later identified as Richards, had taken items from his room, including a $1,200 watch. So this chick was a call girl, right?
Yeah.
Like this is like he invited a call girl to his room, and she drugged him and stole all his shit. He got rolled.
Yeah, he was like an escort or whatever.
Yeah. The man told officers he met Richards and invited her to his room. Yeah, of course. The pair started to cuddle. When Richards reportedly told the man he should take his Rolex watch or it would cut her while they cuddled. This story, man. So I met her, a nice girl, seemed nice. Met her at the local church here because I often go to church when I'm in Vegas, and you know, we decided to go, and I was missing my wife a lot, so I decided, you know, we're just gonna cuddle, just have a little cuddle session, you know, nothing too crazy or anything. And she said, "Hey, you should probably take your Rolex off while we cuddle, so it doesn't hurt me." Next thing I know, I'm watching her shove the thing up her pussy from my drug-induced stupor, you know. I'm the victim in all this, and please.
Yeah, how do you tell this story without mentioning that this dude was engaging in prostitution? But there it is.
Like this. The pair started to cuddle.
They started to cuddle? It's like,
we're
what?
cuddling. Yeah, it's time to cuddle. All right. Good for you. All right, I have no idea what the fuck is going on with this story, but we're going to fucking try to figure it out.
It's a heat sensing crotch monitor surveillance device. Crotch monitor.
Let's find out. Surveillance has become a ubiquitous part of modern life. Public spaces are dotted with CCTV cameras inside and out. Recent years have seen the technology spread to the suburbs with porch cameras, spreading the eye of big tech and law enforcement even further. Outside of mere cameras, companies are rushing to develop all manner of new devices to surveil individuals too. One such device intended to track students quickly drew the ire of scholars at Northeastern University, and the cohort fought back. The device in question were part of an occupancy monitoring system developed by Spacetti, a company that specializes in maximizing efficiency for commercial buildings. The university installed a series of heat sensors under desks aimed roughly at crotch height, intending to detect when a human or other suitably warm object was sitting at a desk. Notably, the sensors were installed overnight without notifying affected students and without their consent. This happened in Northeastern University's Interdisciplinary Science Engineering Complex, home to the Cybersecurity and Privacy Institute.
So it's just measuring whether there's a person there, but I don't know why they couldn't just put like a weight. Like, isn't there a way to have like a weight sensor that would sense that? Like, why do they got to monitor the dankness coming off your crotch?
I also don't really know, like, why do you need to, like, couldn't you just use your eyes to visually see if someone is sitting at a fucking desk? I don't really understand, like, why we need data on this.
They're probably just trying to monitor, like, how often do students use the provided facility or whatever the fuck, so that they can retool how these things are done. Like, ultimately, that's
right. Well, we sent a warm pair of genitals there, so yeah, someone is there.
Yeah, there's a dank crotch sitting there. So there's look at this, a whole dining room area, and in every seat there's a damp crotch. There's a warm, radiating, damp crotch there. Isn't that great? But I mean, that's just like, I think it's creepy, but I also think it's probably like a really easy way to detect if someone, because your genitals do radiate a ton of fucking heat,
Big old hot genitals, right? I don't know. It doesn't really seem that much of a violation of privacy, since it's really just it's not like scanning your junk or something. It's just saying, like, there's a warm body sitting in this chair.
Yeah,
I don't really feel like that data is all that useful, but whatever.
It's not keeping tabs on like how dank your crotch is versus the next person's crotch that uses it. You know what I mean? That would be creepy, but this is not like, it's just saying like, hey, I'm here. You know, this is how machines think about us, man. We have hangups about that type of shit, but machines, they ain't gonna care. Dude, if they can use how dank your crotch is to help serve you better, they're gonna fucking do it, man. You watch. Just to be a pure brown noser, I believe there should be way more likes on this video. True.
Amen. So Russia is once again waggling their dick at us while we waggle our dick back at them. How far will the dick waggle go? Will the dick waggle destroy the earth? Stay tuned to find out. Well, you probably never will find out. You're probably just gonna like be like, oh, what's that bright light? Dead. So but yeah, Russia primes nuclear bomb 12 times more powerful than dropped on Hiroshima. How do we know this? Because they're blasting it out everywhere. They're fucking, they've got like all kinds of photos of themselves doing it. They've fucking broadcasted on TV like, hey guys, look, we're ready to fire this missile anytime. This is basically the equivalent of being like of just like lifting your shirt to show that you're strapped. That's what Russia just did to us. Russia walked up to America's like, I'm strapped, bitch. See that shit? I can shoot you with that shit. So what's America gonna do? And you know, maybe we're gonna fucking fire one over Russia, you know?
Oh,
or
yeah,
nearby, you know, we'll get it right in the periphery. Like,
oh yeah, well I am going. I am going to invade Ukraine. Oh yeah, well I'm gonna arm Ukraine. Oh yeah, well I have nuclear bomb 12 times more powerful than Hiroshima bomb. Oh yeah. Well, I got one that'll blow the entirety of Moscow off the map. Oh, yeah? Well, I've got 20,000 more than you think I've got, comrade. Oh, yeah? Well, we only told you about 10% of our stockpile. Oh, yeah? That's all
well, we're going to fire them. We're going to fire our solar missile into the sun and destroy the entire solar system. Oh, yeah, you pussy motherfucker. We're going to fucking fire one that's going to destroy the whole Milky Way galaxy. Fuck you, bitch. We got one that inverts all of reality and undoes the very fabric of time so that the Big Bang never even fucking happened. It's like, all right. Settle down, boys. Enough.
Oh, hey, wait, TJ, are you implying that we should talk about things and maybe not go like directly escalate every time something like this happens, TJ? Is that what you're saying?
I would never say something so controversial as that.
I was going to say, because if that's what you're saying, TJ, you're a Russian stooge.
I would never say something as, no, Paul, I'm 100%.
You're a Russian fucking stooge.
No,
if that's what you're saying, TJ.
Let me make it very clear what I'm saying, Paul. What I am saying is America should blow up the universe before Russia does, so that it's known that we're the ones who did it. Let's fucking head them off at the pass, boys. Blow up the universe. Fuck Paul. Fuck Paul is little pussy ass, like bring on the nukes bullshit. Fuck that. Blow up the universe. Undo this entire existence. Paul's like, we need to return to monkey. Fuck that. Undo monkey. Undo the fucking first little bacteria in the fucking primordial ooze. Fuck the molten earth. Fuck the Big Bang. Fuck all of existence. Existence itself was a mistake, and it's time for America to correct the fucking mistake and teach Russia a fucking lesson. That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
Oh yeah, we could talk it over, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's also, I guess, an option. We can sit down and be like, hey guys, maybe we can come to some kind of non-destruction of the world sort of, I don't know, arrangement here.
Maybe we can even work together to get rid of these weapons so that they're not there for future generations.
Remember when candidate Obama actually brought that up, and that was like, whoa, holy shit.
Like what?
A candidate for president just fucking talked about nuclear disarmament. That's fucking amazing. I hope he wins.
What a joke.
They taught us a lesson, though. They taught us, like, oh, yeah, you had hope, huh? Fucking stupid bitch. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for at least teaching me not to ever fucking think for a second shit might get better.
Like, it is still so easy for these countries to pull their people into this dick waggling contest with them. You know what I mean? You would think that them doing it over and over again for literally like 2 lifetimes now is enough, but no.
That's because it's the same reason that people fall for the most important election thing. You know, it's just like, because people always want to believe that they're living in some unique time, you know?
Of course.
So like the idea that it's like, oh man, well, every other time this has happened, it's been, you know, it was all a big fucking laxidate. It was a big old farce, man. But this time, holy shit, we got good cause now. It's like, there is no good cause to be in a dick waggling contest with nuclear weapons. There's literally not one. Okay. It just doesn't exist. It shouldn't be happening. Sorry, humanity. But if you're at this point, you're a moron. Like, this is like, I don't know. America at this point is like a fucking person that's in a fist fight at a fast food place, you know? And it's like this. Yeah. Okay. I know every other time I've fucking started some shit with a fast food employee and got into a fist fight with them. It was fucked up and stupid. But this time they really did fuck up my fries. So it's justified this time. And then later on, it's like, I guess that was pretty fucked up what we did. Yeah. Whoops. Jerry. Yep.
That really was like that. It's one of the things that's the hardest thing to admit for me. But humanity en masse basically is the Jerry Springer audience.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You know, like that's
I figured it out a while back.
That's us. You know, that's not just a part. That's not just like a weird subsection. That's humanity as a whole.
You know what helped me realize it, honestly, more than anything else, was I was listening to Jerry do his justification for why his show, you know, should exist.
Right.
And he was just like, you know, hey, when celebrities do all this fucking same fucked up shit, the mainstream media covers that. I just fucking cover it when Trailer Trash does it. What's the fucking real difference? It's like, oh shit. That's what I just realized. Like, the world is Jerry Springer, and this is just like, today we've got countries that can't get along or whatever the fuck, and it's like, yeah. You fucked my girl. You fucked my girlfriend in the Ukraine. It's like, oh, like shit.
Just that I'm sitting here looking at this picture as we're talking, and I'm like, what an absurdity that humanity has built such a fucking weapon of death. Look at that thing. Look at that giant phallus.
Yeah. Let's see if there's any more pictures of it. No, I guess not.
Just a giant phallic symbol sitting on a giant truck being paraded through the streets to waggle it. You know what I mean? That's all it is.
Look at how big our dick is, comrade. It's like, all right, cool.
It's just like, oh my God, man, here we go.
This is the most important election of our life. This is the most important war of our life. This is this is the most important. We're living in the most important times right now. This is justified. Let's see what the comments say. This just doesn't add up. A 46,000 ton, that's 92 million pound missile would be too large to be mobile, and only carrying a 500 kiloton warhead, that would be more than 2,000 pounds by today's technological standards. That works out to be a payload of only 0.0217 of the
course, Of course, this guy is in the comments. The amateur mathematician is always there to tell you why something isn't possible to happen.
This actually can't be, you guys. All right. Yeah. Well, maybe he's right. I don't know. I have no means of knowing if that's accurate or not. Question is, how much will the Russian oligarchs allow this madman to wreak havoc in the region, or for that matter, the rest of the world? Surely they realize. But when we
do this exact fucking thing,
just to pacify Putin's ego.
When we do this exact fucking thing, and dick waggle some new web, I just saw it the other day. They unveiled the new stealth bomber. Did you see this shit?
No,
dude, that was like I watched the way that they presented that shit, and it's like a brand new car would be unveiled at like a car con or some shit. It was just like the dick waggle of the fucking century. Just like when we do this, nobody's going like, oh, that madman dick waggling all his fucking, because what do you think that stealth bomber could be loaded up with, dipshits? Nukes. That's the whole point.
America's new invisible stealth bomber, the B-21 Raider.
Like, what do you think? What do you think news coverage and news stories like that are, if not exactly the same type of dick waggle that this is?
But
exactly the same.
Paul, it's different because we the good guys.
Oh, we the good guys. I forgot, TJ.
Paul,
Thank you for reminding me.
You forgot it. We the good guys. Stupid.
Wait a minute. Let me ask TJ then. If we the good guys, does that mean that them the bad guys?
Oh yeah, Paul. Them the bad guys, Paul. You siding with the bad guys right now, Paul.
Oh, me take back.
You side with bad. Okay, good. You get in line, Paul. You root for good guy. You root against bad guy.
Yeah, me root against bad guy.
Russia bad, America good.
Him show off missile, bad. Him madman. We show off missile, good guy show how strong.
Yeah, we're pretty stupid species. Jerry.
Yep.
Countries that like to waggle their dicks at each other tonight on Jerry Springer. Jerry.
Oh man, the world's the fucking highest stake dick waggling contest ever. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Ongoing now for something like 80 years. For 80 plus years.
You know what the sad thing is like they've been talking the whole time, like, I'm gonna whip it out. I'm gonna whip it out.
Yep.
They're still just like, they're standing at the table, both being like, I'm gonna whip it out first. No, if you whip it, I'm gonna whip mine out. You better fucking believe mine's bigger than yours.
Yeah.
How big are they, boys? Let's find out.
Can you just show us already? Both of you whip it out.
Yeah, let's see it. Both y'all whip it out at the same time. Come to a mutual agreement. Let's whip it out at the same time. Then we can look at each other's dicks, come to our conclusions, and then go about our lives. How about that?
Dude, I'm going to find a clip from a movie that I always think of when dick waggling contests are being evoked. I love this. I don't know why, but I love this moment. Let's see if I can find it.
Oh, yeah.
It shouldn't take me long.
Dick waggling contest, baby.
Dick waggle, dude. What the fuck, man? What in the fuck, TJ? What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
Is there anything that can be done, TJ?
I'd like to think so, but I don't know yet. I'm just trying to accrue as much power to myself as possible so that maybe I could actually change something. But who knows? It seems like no one person can actually change the tide of history anymore. But maybe I'm wrong about that. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe you are. Maybe you are.
Well, at least try. I'm not sure. I mean, like, I don't understand why these two countries are so fucking crazy about mutually wagging their dicks at each other. I don't even know. I mean, if you want to get really conspiratorial, like, what if it's all just a show for our benefit, and they're all working together? Like, we already have global harmony. It's all just ruled, and they're just like, hey, let's keep them scared.
I think yeah.
Let's pretend to waggle our dicks at each other. Meanwhile, we all share one big dick. We're using it to fuck them with. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very possible, right? Nothing stopping them from doing that.
Yeah, very possible. And one might even say probable, TJ. One might even say probable.
I don't know about probable, but it's as likely as any other fucking goddamn thing, right? I mean, at that level, who fucking knows what the fuck is really going on?
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. I can't find this stupid clip. I wish I could.
Well, tell me what it was going to be, Paul.
It's from Blair Witch Book of Shadows.
Oh. Okay.
Which is a movie that I've made fun of for years, ever since I saw it. but I've only recently admitted like I like this movie. Like it's horrible, it's bad, and every criticism I have of it is entirely valid, but I still like this movie. But anyway, there's a scene where like the goth chick is walking into that country store, and there's all those like yokels hanging out front, and they're like, "Hey there, Vampirella, I got something you could suck the blood out of." And she just like turns around to the guy and goes, "Oh yeah, whip it out." And he's just like dumbfounded. She just walks back in.
Oh yeah. I've not watched Book of Shadows, but as I said earlier in this story, or not in this story, but earlier in this show, the worst horror movie I've ever seen is still pretty fucking good. So
yeah.
I mean, like, once again, like if I see a shitty, forgettable drama, ask me what the fuck happened in it in a month and I won't tell you. But I fucking haven't seen Blair Witch Book of Shadows since it was in theaters, and I still remember like a lot of specific things that happened in the fucking movie.
Dude, you should watch it again. It's shocking how bad it is, because like the way it wraps, it's just absurd. Like the movie is an absurdity, but the fucking acting is actually kind of charming in it. Like there's a charming seriousness to these actors.
I guess someone said we watched it on Cinema for Cynics.
Did
Cynics
we?
versus Cinema. So I guess I have seen it recently, but when we're watching those, we're doing so much talking. You can't really sink it. You can't really soak it in that much.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I actually like the movie though. It's horrible though. It's like as a sequel to the Blair Witch, it's fucking shockingly bad, but
it does have a pretty interesting soundtrack. And actually was one of only 2 albums released under Marilyn Manson's vanity label Posthuman Records, which is kind of weird, but
yeah. It's got a nicotine Valium. It's got that song.
Excess and alcohol. There's a really I think it's kind of an obscure song. I don't even know where they feature it in the movie, but I don't know, how does it go? It's like wait, oh man, I used to fucking be able to sing this fucking song. I haven't listened to it in a while because it is kind of like an obscure song that's kind of forgotten, but it's like, stones in my shoes get sharper all the time. I don't know how to fucking describe the song. It's called a Incinerator or something like that, but it's a really weird fucking song that's like sung in a sort of a monotone thing. And I always just liked that song because it had such weird imagery, and it's like seems like kind of post-apocalyptic, but almost like they're bored with the post-apocalypse or something.
Yeah. So let's see. Here's the whole track listing. There's Disposable Teens.
Yeah.
Which is like it's the title track.
Right. They fucking play that in the opening of the movie.
But Hollywood may be Marilyn Manson's greatest album, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it's my favorite to this day, I think. So
yep. Streamlined, performed by Sunshine. I don't remember that one. Feel Alive by Chris Webber.
Not sure about that.
All or Nothing by Julie Reeves. Haunted by Poe. I remember Poe as an artist.
Yeah. Haunted is a pretty cool track, honestly.
Yeah. Mind by System of a Down.
Great song.
Yep. Arcarsenal by At the Drive-In.
I don't think that's it, but I think that actually that's a pretty cool song too.
Yeah. Goodbye Lament by Tony Iommi featuring Dave Grohl.
No. I don't
Human
remember that.
by Elastica.
No.
Feel Good Hit of the Summer, which is that one we
That's
mentioned.
the nicotine, Valium, Vicodin, marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol. Yeah.
Queens of the Stone Age. An unfortunate appearance by Nickelback.
Yeah.
Old Enough by Nickelback.
I have no idea.
Soul Auctioneer by Death in Vegas.
That's the motherfucking song.
Soul
right
Auctioneer.
That's a cool song. If anyone wants to listen to like a weird kind of offbeat but pretty interesting track, that's a pretty cool one.
Yeah. Other ones I recognize. POD, I guess, is on here. There's another Death in Vegas track called Dirge as well.
Not as good, by the way.
Dragula is on here by.
Yeah, I mean that's an old standard right there.
Yeah, that really has changed a lot. Like a lot of movies used to have a really good soundtracks and like really memorable sound. I guess there's no reason to do it anymore. That's not how albums aren't sold that way anymore. So,
I mean, but now they load up a lot of fucking. I mean, ever since the success of Guardians of the Galaxy, they've loaded up a lot of these movies with a lot of iconic tracks. Unfortunately, not all of them have the same sort of ability to do it. Because like you have to make sure they actually work. A lot of movies kind of very clearly shoehorn in this stuff, like Suicide Squad. There was a lot of fucking expensive like music in there, like IP wise, but none of it really matched the scenes that it was in. So it was very clumsy and ham-fisted.
Do you have a favorite
that movie?
Do you have a favorite bad movie, good soundtrack from that era?
I mean, it might be Blair Witch to Book of Shadows, honestly, but let me think. That bad movie, good soundtrack. Yeah,
there were a bunch of them, like Spawn.
Yeah, that was like a cool fucking soundtrack.
The 90s Spawn had a fucking amazing soundtrack. What was it?
I was gonna say The Crow, but I like that movie. So,
well, yeah, that's a good movie. What about Queen of the Damned?
Oh yeah, you know, because Jonathan Davis did all those songs for it, and then he wasn't allowed to sing them on the album. So like, even though his vocals are in the movie, on the album he had to get like Manson and the dude from Disturbed and like a bunch of other people to like sing him for him, and they're all pretty fucking cool. And they wrote all these original songs for the movie, so that was kind of neat too, instead of just like using songs that already existed. So yeah, that's
Lost Highway. I
pretty
mean,
cool
I like,
soundtrack.
I like that's a great soundtrack, but I like that movie too. So
yeah,
it's one of those things.
For me, it would maybe be a case I could say bad movie, good soundtrack, but you couldn't because you like the movie.
Yeah, The Matrix had a great soundtrack too.
But that's a good movie.
That's a good movie. Yeah.
Do the Matrix sequels have good soundtracks? Because if so, you know,
they have less, definitely like less iconic soundtracks.
I'm noticing that Manson is on a shit ton of these soundtracks we're listing for bad movies that were that were good, and he was on the Matrix soundtrack too. So,
dude, Manson, like a lot of people don't give Manson his due. Dude, Manson was like a whole vibe at the peak of his career. He was like a whole genre in and of himself.
Dude, I can't tell you how often I was watching MTV and they would start using Manson's music as background music while people were talking and shit. So.
You know where they used to use it a lot was, remember that like little news show on MTV where they would come in and go do 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 do.
Yeah,
you know, like Kurt Loder or whatever would come up.
I'm Kurt Loder. This is an MTV news brief or whatever.
Right,
you know?
Dude. Behind those was always a Manson track, like it would just do that. Like they would just loop, you know, like one of his riffs.
Yeah.
They were constantly doing that.
Someone said The Crow 2 City of Angels. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't remember that one, but
I'm going to go look it up. Good. The Crow 2 soundtrack. I mean, maybe if I'd have to recognize the shit on there. No, the movie was ass. I remember watching The Crow 2 and being like, what the fuck have you done? What have you fucking done? So this soundtrack looks very fucking 90s grunge radio. You got Hole, Filter, Bush, Seven Mary 3, Toadies, Korn, Iggy Pop, Above the Law, Frost, Deftones, PJ Harvey, Gravediggers, Linda Perry, and New York Loose, Deftones, if I didn't mention them already, Pet, Graham Revell, don't know who that is, White Zombie, and KC and the Sunshine Band together as one, I guess. I don't know. That's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's definitely like a 90s soundtrack right there.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, it sounds like it might be pretty good, but their movie does suck. Dude, the fucking Crow City of Angels I was watching the movie and I'm watching the movie and I'm like, why is it orange? Is the whole movie going to be orange? And then it was, and I'm like, who the fuck shoots an entire movie in like oversaturated sepia tone? Who the fuck greenlit that? Who the fuck thought that was a good vibe or idea? Literally the whole ass movie is fucking orange. It's such a fucking, it's just miserable to watch it. I'm just like, who greenlit this shit? Who orange lit this shit?
It's like all of Battlefield Earth being at Dutch angles, you know?
Oh my God, it drives me nuts. Like half the fucking movie at least. But Crow City of Angels, literally the whole thing. I'll show you guys.
It's orange as fuck.
Let me show you this orange ass motherfucking movie, okay? Hold up. Check this shit. All right. The whole fucking goddamn movie is fucking orange. Look at this. The whole fucking movie is this. The whole fucking movie is orange, guys. The whole fucking goddamn movie.
Dude, I put on my orange glasses to make it even more orange for me.
There you go. Yeah, it's all shot. Oh, here's some of it's green, I guess. Sorry, I lied.
There's a little bit of green there, TJ.
Here, look,
you're a liar.
Look at these clips from it. This is their little clip show of it. Almost every one of these motherfucking clips. Orange, 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 orange.
Yeah, it is pretty orange.
Why?
Dude, you know what other movie is kind of orange, though, dude, that I guarantee you like?
What?
Batman Begins.
Yeah, it is kind of orange, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's more variety in Batman Begins, though.
There's probably is, but it's a very orange.
But you're right.
movie.
A lot of that movie is fucking orange, dude. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
I know.
So I don't know. Maybe The Crow just overdid it to too fucking great. I needed a little break from the orange at least.
Yep.
For fuck's sake. Anyway, here's this guy. He's going to teach us about identity. How do you like that?
Identity?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Next Sunday at Coast.
You know what? I'm going to boost that up a little bit, huh?
Sure, why not?
Just a smidgen. I think it's a little low, huh?
Or boost it down, you know?
No.
Church,
so we don't have to listen to what this fucker's
called Identity.
You wish, Paul. You fucking wish.
This is a 10-week sermon series exploring who we are and who God designed us to be.
10-week sermon series, Paul. You ready?
And I'm exhausted just thinking about doing that.
10 weeks of this guy sermonizing you. You don't want it?
No, man. No.
We feel that this is a very timely and important series. So many right now feel that something seems wrong with what we're being told about.
Why are you looking over there, buddy? What's over there?
Whatever. You know,
What's over there?
Used teleprompters before. He's just not very good at it.
My teleprompter goes over the lens. You know, so like usually if I'm doing that, I'm looking.
Yeah,
there.
You would think that this big ass fucking church could afford a proper teleprompter
instead of one that's like clearly off to the side of the camera.
Gender, identity, sexuality, and many of us are confused about these topics.
At least he admits it.
Yeah.
At least he fucking admits it, bro. This is the first time I've heard a Christian admit that they are all very confused about gender and sexuality.
Yeah, well, that's
I
the thing.
Couldn't agree.
That's the thing is he's saying that everyone else is confused. He's gonna cut through the confusion and tell you the truth. You know,
right?
Society are saying one thing, and we're not sure what to believe anymore.
Yeah.
We all come from different places and have different perspectives. What we want to do in this series is open our Bibles and help bring clarity to these topics. We want parents to...
Yeah, that's where the clarity is going to be.
Yeah.
Right there in the Bible.
Let's not like take into account the last 2,000 years of fucking knowledge on human psychology. Let's look at a Bronze Age book of myths written by the money holders to keep the fucking small folk subjugated. You know what I mean? Let's do that. That's where the clarity's at, bro.
I know, right?
Walk away with answers from the scriptures for their children. And we want to...
Dude, I used to watch this fucking guy back when I was a teen. Not this guy.
Oh, okay.
But this guy kind of reminds me of him, but he's less irascible than this guy. I used to watch this guy named Pastor Arnold Murray back when I was a teenager. He would be on like I was like I am now. I was a late, I was up late a lot and trying to go to sleep as an insomniac, kind of trying to go to sleep, and I'd throw on this dude, and he was very much like this dude is portraying himself. Like he was all about like every answer to every fucking question that you could possibly have as a human being is right here in the Bible. You just got to know how to find it. You got to know where to find it. And he would do this same shit. He would do like these deep dives into the Bible, talking about like, this is why being gay is wrong. And he'd deep dive into the Bible and read all these things. But it's all about just interpreting the Bible. It's funny because we've come full circle. It's a form of mentalism. These guys are just using the Bible as an interpretive device, not a deck of tarot cards or a bag full of chicken bones or any number of other fetish objects that could be used to like divine truth from the universe There's no more truth in the Bible than there is in a deck of fucking tarot cards. And it's just a storytelling framework where it's used, maliciously en masse in this case.
Do all of this with open hearts, open minds, and open Bibles, ready to see what God's Spirit wants.
See, the open hearts and open minds kind of contradicted by the open Bible, though.
Yeah, you should close the Bible if you want those other two.
Yeah, you can't open all three of those at once.
Yeah, you can't be open-minded. You can't simultaneously be open-minded and then just say like this book right here is the one incontrovertible truth in the universe. Those two things can't really have an open heart if the presupposition is you already are going to believe everything you're told that comes out of this book.
Yeah, you can't really have an open heart when you're saying the ultimate truth of the universe is a book that is full of like moral degeneracy and shit either. So marry your rapist. Like, okay, not a good book. That's not a good prescription.
Show us. Please know that this series will not be designed to rob anyone of dignity. We're not going to make this about a debate in order to arm Christians for some theological throwdown, because people who disagree with us are not the enemy. Also,
there's one of them progressive Christians.
Yeah, he's reaching out to like, he's like, this is how you get to be like a total fucking bigot, but have a softer image.
Listen here, nobody who doesn't agree with us is bad. They're all good, just like we are, and that's why we're reaching out across the aisle.
Like, yeah, sure, we're going to do a 10-week series on why trans people and gay people and lesbian people are invalid. But you know what? Just because they're invalid doesn't mean they're bad.
Material that we'll cover will not be presented in ways that treat our friends who may be experiencing identity issues as...
Yeah, okay. So this is the condescension approach, basically.
Yep. This is just the other end of the fucking grift. This is
instead of you're a damn monster. It's just like you're confused. We're here to help you because you're
currently experiencing gender confusion. We're here to help.
We're here to help you out, just like we're here to. This is just like gay conversion therapy 2.0, right?
Oh yeah, this is definitely how those facilities are operated for sure. Because like they figured out that when it comes to like psychologically manipulating people, it's better to empathize with them than just scream in their faces and shit. Unless you have like a regimented environment like the military, in which case then screaming becomes appropriate, I guess. Again.
Problems to be
because then you can deconstruct people,
right?
Fixed instead of people to be loved. Central to Christianity is the understanding that everyone who has ever lived was born in the image of God.
Love the sinner, hate the sin. You may be a hell-bound sinner that God is going to roast on an open flame for all eternity. But you know what? That doesn't mean that I won't take your money. It doesn't mean that I won't pretend to be your friend. It's like, it's so creepy when they try and fucking condescend. Because the funny thing is that I guarantee if you watched this fucking series, the end result would be gay people are going to hell. Homosexuality is a sin.
Yeah, but it's going to be presented like, oh, well, we're trying to save them from hell. So we're good people.
Yeah.
We're trying to help, And by the way, how can you have these two lines at once where it's like, it's about, they're just confused, but they're also going to hell. It's like, so wait, so your God sends people to hell for being confused? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And then if they're confused, isn't it God ultimately that caused that confusion? Isn't he the first cause?
Society. We've drifted from God.
But how did society drift from God? How did
free
that
will,
happen?
Paul? Free fucking will, Paul.
Yeah, right. Right.
They love that.
Jesus died. At Coastal Church, we believe that there isn't anyone that we can't love once we've heard their story.
Uh-huh.
Your story matters. Your feelings matter. And your friends matter.
Oh my God, man. Just tell me what I want to hear, Pastor.
So that we can all discover what matters most. Because the Bible tells us that we are not designed to live by bread alone. We also don't live by gender or sexuality alone. Instead, we live by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God.
What does that mean? That's just gibberish, basically.
That just means that everything in the Bible is true. Because it's God's literal word, direct from him to us.
Thanks for
never mind all the revisions. He probably uses a King James.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I mean, like, it has the name of the fucking guy who revised it right in the fucking name.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think he got in there?
We hope to see you.
That's pretty much over. Man, what a dork. Fuck this guy. All right, so we got a little asshole test here.
Oh, okay. A round of Am I the Asshole polls inspired by the wonderful Reddit community. Okay. Read the story below and then vote who you think is wrong.
Yeah, so this is basically just like, you know, a little morality test or whatever. I guess not really a morality test because you can think someone's the asshole and still not necessarily
this is basically
wrong, but
this is basically a closed positive feedback loop that us chimps can use to paw at when we want to have a little rush of endorphins because we think that we're right about things.
Let's pass judgment on some people.
Let's
Paul.
do it.
All right, here's the situation. Mary Alice is pregnant.
Yeah.
Her coworker, Francine, who sits next to her, likes to eat tuna sandwiches for lunch. Mary Alice asks her to bring something else because the smell makes her feel nauseated. Francine says it's not her problem. Who's the asshole? Mary Alice.
Yeah, seriously. Like what's the implication that they can't sit somewhere else?
Yeah.
Like what kind of there it says coworker. So what kind of job is she working where you have assigned cafeteria seating or whatever the fuck? It makes no sense. So clearly Mary Alice could just move to a different place and
not only that, but like
it's just like I love the, and you know what the insinuation here is?
Yeah, because I'm having a fucking goddamn baby. I can control your diet now. Fuck off.
Exactly.
You don't get to fucking control what I eat.
We're supposed to vote for Francine because Francine is pregnant, and when one person's pregnant, everybody's pregnant. You know, that's the way we're supposed to think about it. It's like, no, the opposite is true. Fuck Francine, or fuck Mary Alice, and fuck her nausea, and fuck her decision to procreate. You can't fucking sit next to somebody eating a fucking normal ass tuna sandwich for lunch. That's your problem, bitch.
Yeah, we're in the vast minority, but I don't give a fuck.
See,
fuck that.
I told you.
Fuck that bullshit. All right. Chuck and Dee Dee are about to get married. A week before the wedding, Dee Dee finds an engraved bracelet that Chuck was planning to give to his ex as a friend. Dee Dee wants to call off the wedding. Chuck says she's overreacting. Who is the asshole? And then, okay, so let me go through this again. Chuck and Dee Dee are about to get married. All right. A week before the wedding, Dee Dee finds an engraved bracelet that Chuck was planning to give to his ex as a friend, quote unquote. Dee Dee wants to call off the wedding. Chuck says she's overreacting. Who's the asshole?
I mean, I really don't like this. This is one of those cases where I'm just like, neither of them are assholes. Like this is for them to work out. I don't think anybody's necessarily an asshole. This is just like a boundary question.
Yeah.
Just like he's claiming he's still friends with his ex. Like what shocks me is that she's about to marry this dude and she doesn't know that he's still friends with his ex.
Right. I would say they're both assholes for trying to get married when they haven't even worked out this level of shit.
Yeah, I mean this type of shit, you should know what's going on.
Right, like you know, like I don't know, like if you're ready, if you're at the level of like marriage, like this kind of shit should have already been like addressed and worked out. So
yeah, both of them is a choice. Both of them is mine.
Yeah,
for sure. A pair of assholes.
Of course, the fucking goddamn BuzzFeed predominantly female audience is like Chuck bad because he's bad.
Penis bad. That bad.
Fucking misandrous bastards. All right. Craig and his girlfriend. So, of course, just fucking FYI prediction, Craig is going to be the asshole on the BuzzFeed results.
Yep.
Craig and his girlfriend, Ashley, both work full-time, but only Ashley works from home. All right. Craig says he's exhausted after work and just wants to go straight to bed without any conversation on weeknights. Ashley says that's absurd. Who's the asshole? Ashley's the asshole.
I mean, yeah, anytime, like, there's like, I'm one of these people. I like conversating with people, but there are times where I just don't want to fucking talk to anybody, and I shouldn't be forced to socialize by somebody else's expectations of my socializing with them. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't seem like,
other than for like doing a show.
Right. Like, if you're in a love, well, yeah, I mean, doing a show is different. That's my job.
Professional. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times, and not just with this job, with every job, my job is the reason, like it is for poor fucking Craig here. You know, it's the reason why I don't want to fucking talk to anybody, because I do a lot of it at my job, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to shut up for a while.
I mean, I would say
a person that cares about you should care about that. They should care less about having you monopolized for a set amount of hours in their head for forced conversation, and more about supporting you as a person who's out there fucking busting their hump.
Really, I mean, you know, I guess I can't know for sure whether I mean, maybe Craig loves his job and shit, but like, you know, the fact that Craig has a job that siphons away that much of his energy to the point where he can literally do nothing else but collapse into bed when he gets home. I think his job might be kind of the asshole too.
Well, yeah, clearly, but that's not on the list. And it's you're absolutely right. It's gonna be Craig. The audience is gonna vote Craig. But I think Ashley is the asshole in this.
Yeah,
instance,
I would
for
say,
sure.
From what I hear. Yep. How?
Yeah, he's Craig is the asshole
because he won't fucking be like, I will work through. I mean, I'll set my exhaustion aside and just talk to you anyway. All right.
Yep.
Man, what's being revealed to me is this BuzzFeed audience is a bunch of nightmare people.
I mean, everybody like that's.
I already knew,
it's Jerry Springer audience again.
Jerry. Hey, baby, you know, if that guy too tired to pay attention to you, get yourself a real man who will.
Yeah, we gonna get
Like
married
me.
here pretty soon, Jerry, but I got something to reveal. I got this hair bracelet engraved from my ex-girlfriend. She's my best friend. I'm gonna give it to her right here on the show. You ain't gonna do that. Oh, here she is, the ex-girlfriend. You know, Jerry. Yeah, it's like, oh fuck, here we go.
There's not enough nuance in these responses. Whatever. There's no room for nuance.
I mean,
here, okay?
BuzzFeed is hanging over the top of the fucking page. Do you really need more of a context clue than that you're not coming to a nuanced source for anything? BuzzFeed is up there, bro.
All right. Let's see if we'll ever come to a consensus with BuzzFeed here. All right.
We're never going to. Guaranteed.
Hades' cousin Amber is expecting a baby. Amber has chosen a really unique name that Haiti finds ridiculous.
Already can tell you right now.
Haiti tells Amber she should pick a different name so her kid doesn't get bullied. Amber uninvites her to the baby shower. Who's the asshole?
Haiti.
I mean,
it's
Haiti,
your baby. You get to name it whatever the fuck you want to, dude. You know,
I mean, you're still an asshole for having a baby, but I don't think they're asking about that. So yeah,
no, that's definitely.
And I think
this one might.
I think
be
people
the
are
one.
probably going to agree with us on this, right? Like Haiti.
Yes.
Some of us saying both of them. Probably both, like, it does suck to give your kid a unique name or whatever the fuck, especially if it's like something really like they're gonna get made fun of for, I guess. But yeah. I'd like to know
are kind of assholes. You're right, but no.
Yeah, but I mean, Haiti is clearly the bigger because, like, yeah, you can name your kid what you want to name your kid. You're the one who fucking did it, so
yeah.
And every name was probably ridiculous at some point. Blair and Dan broke up recently. They used to watch Game of Thrones together every week on Blair's HBO account. Blair discovers that Dan is still using her account, so she decides to kick him off right before the finale. Who is the asshole? Well, it's her account. Is she paying for it?
I mean, it is a little bit fucking petty to kick him off right before the finale so he doesn't get to see the finale. You know what I mean?
I mean, he could go pay for his own fucking account and go watch it there.
But it's a little bit fucking petty to wait until that moment.
I mean, well, is it? I mean, I don't know. It's a little petty maybe, but I don't think that she's the asshole here. It's her account. They're broken up. She don't have no loyalty no more. She had no reason to be. So,
But she's also going the extra mile. She's not just discovering he's on there and kicking him off. She's discovering he's on there and then waiting to kick him off until the finale.
Another good point. She spared him, to be honest. The finale was garbage.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
There too.
Very true.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say that Dan is the asshole. No, he's not really the asshole either.
Dan is an asshole because he's a mooch, and she's an asshole because she's petty as fuck.
See, I'm gonna say neither of them are the asshole because it's her account, and I'd mooch too if I was him. So fuck it. Who cares? I mean, I don't think either of them are assholes. I think they're both fine. Both are acting within their rights.
You're too forgiving.
So how do we vote? Because now we don't agree.
I mean, I don't know. You go ahead.
Put it to the chat or something, or what do we do here?
No, I think let's just vote your way and see.
Okay.
I'm
gonna say neither of them
is the asshole.
Woo! I'm in the majority, Paul. That means I'm right. Majority rules, motherfucker.
Look at that.
Yeah. When the majority agrees with me, they're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But a lot of people say, damn, there's just a lot of man haters on here too. They're just like Frankie and Joanne. Frankie's the asshole. That's right. Woman's never wrong.
Yep.
Jonah takes his girlfriend, Frankie, to a fancy, actually Frankie in this instance is a girl, so whatever.
A fancy restaurant.
To a fancy restaurant with some of his friends. Frankie orders the mac and cheese. Jonah says she embarrassed him with her immature choice of food. Frankie calls him ridiculous. Okay, so Frankie's the asshole. I mean, this is like, where's even the fucking... You can't order mac and cheese without this guy fucking being up. Yeah, that's immature. You embarrassed me by ordering mac and cheese. Not only is he an asshole, that's grounds for ending the relationship. He's that fucking weird about like you ordering mac and cheese at a restaurant. That dude's way too controlling. So unless you're like super into like some fucking domineering, controlling dude, which I guess some chicks probably are. But if you're not, definitely fucking giant red flag in my opinion.
I agree.
Frankie's the girlfriend. I know. Yeah. So Jonah's the asshole is what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like you eat whatever you fucking want at a restaurant. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's not even hard. I mean, fucking too easy. BuzzFeed. You need ones where there's more debatability.
Yeah.
Joey and Pacey live in an apartment. Their downstairs neighbor Dawson complains that he hears them having loud sex at night. He asks them to stop hooking up after 8 p.m. Joey and Pacey respond by leaving a pair of earplugs at his door. Who's the asshole? I mean, Dawson's a cock blocker. So, I don't know. Yeah. I would say Dawson to me.
I don't know.
I mean, I can understand being kind of upset by it, but like, really, Dawson's just mad that he ain't making noise with nobody. You know what I mean? Like,
see, dude, I've had this very fucking issue happen. And I can tell you, like, the level of absurdity that can come out of listening to people loudly have sex in the middle of the night. Like, it's easy to go like, oh yeah, this dude just a fucking asshole. Dude, I had a roommate one time that was just fucking constantly in the middle of the night. Like, I was working at Starbucks, getting up at fucking 4 a.m. to get there by 5. And he's there at like 2 a.m. I got a wake up call every goddamn night. And it was like, the thing was, they weren't even trying to like respect the fact that there was another person like one door over. And it was night after night after night after night until I finally fucking had enough. And I went and I interrupted the fucking goddamn coitus. I was like, listen, like you can either fuck a little quieter or find time to fuck when I'm not here, or find somewhere else to fuck, or you can go find somewhere else to live because I can't fucking sleep. It's ridiculous. It's like a performance every goddamn night. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between like having sex with somebody and it being a goddamn fucking performance every fucking goddamn fucking night of the week.
Yeah, you're just jealous they're having better sex. I think Dawson's the asshole here. People should be able to fuck as loudly as they want, wherever they want.
They're all
including in the middle of a Walmart. But I'll go with you because you went with me. So you say all assholes, then I'll.
Yeah, they're both assholes for sure.
There you go. Second most popular option.
See, people know.
Emily takes her daughter Lorelei wedding dress shopping. Emily sees one she loves and offers to pay for half. Lorelei prefers another dress. Emily says she'll only pay for the one she likes. Lorelei says that's controlling. Who's the asshole? Everyone here is an asshole because I don't even want to think about about this one. It's like,
I mean, this is definitely like a chick question.
Yeah. This is like
who knows?
very much in the world of women. I don't know how this fucking kind of thing operates. I'm just gonna say they're all assholes.
Yeah, they're both assholes.
All of them are assholes.
No, Emily's the asshole.
Emily's the asshole because it's her day, damn it. But she's offering to pay for half of the dress. So I don't know. But whatever. That's for women to figure out, I guess.
Paul just needed some earplugs. Dude, earplugs don't drown out I don't know if you've ever had the sound of a fucking headboard banging against the goddamn fucking wall and somebody wailing like a banshee in the next room. There's no headphones on earth that block that out, bro.
All right. Tom and Dill are part of a Dungeons and Dragons group. Tom has to miss a session, so he lets Dill play his character. The next day, Tom finds out he's been killed off. Dill tells him to just make a new character. Tom leaves the group. Who's the asshole?
I mean, nobody's the asshole here. This is a nerd argument. They're both nerds. Yeah, like, they're both dorks. Let's see. Yeah, he missed a session.
I mean, like if you give someone else permission to play your character, yeah, there's a possibility they're gonna fucking. I mean, you've played D&D with this person, so you know what their skill level is. So I mean, like if they kill your character, I mean, I guess like you might be like you were fucking careless with my character because you didn't really give a shit, but that was. You made that choice when you fucking let them do it. So, I don't know. I feel like no one's really at fault here.
This is probably the type of drama that actual DMs of actual games have to fucking put up with. Yeah. And I'm just like the whole point of D&D, in my opinion, becomes completely and utterly pointless if there's absolutely no way. If your character is basically a god that can be miracled out of any fucking situation and shit, then there's really no stakes for the player. And so like hey dude, he chose to let somebody fucking play his character and that person got the character killed. Just roll a new fucking character, bro. That's it.
So yeah, I mean if anyone's the asshole, probably Tom, but I would say in my opinion neither one.
Yeah, I don't think either of them are assholes. I think they're both just giant fucking nerds, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it.
Dill, Tom, neither. Or the third place option. Most people said Dill, the one who killed the character, as the asshole.
Oh, got it.
Because I guess they should have played better. I mean, I don't know. All right, we're gonna do one more. There's only one more to do. So
that's it. That's the last one.
Charles and Ellen take their family on a road trip. Definitely Charles. Fucking
Charles is the asshole in this one.
Penis having motherfucker. The kids see a McDonald's and start chanting to pull over. Charles goes through the drive-thru and orders a single black coffee. The kids are upset, and Ellen calls him a bad parent. Who's the asshole? I mean, I'm trying to put myself in every perspective here.
So this is I know exactly what's going on here, and people they want you to say Charles is the asshole.
Yeah,
but the kids are chanting.
Yeah, so it's like
while you're driving the car, dude.
Do you really want to reward their fucking like McDonald's?
It's like, no. In fact, I want to teach them that if they do that, not only are they not going to get McDonald's, but I'm going to get McDonald's and they're not going to get McDonald's. Like, that's the only way to, like, when you got kids, if you want to teach your kids not to do shit like chanting every goddamn place they want you to pull in and stop at every time they're in the car, and you don't want to beat their asses, you've got to do shit like this in order to teach them the fucking lesson, because kids won't get it otherwise. Like, children are just like that way. They're just.
How come I can't vote that the children are the asshole? Oh, well.
That's clearly what's going on here is the children.
But I mean, Ellen takes up for her fucking shitty kids.
Yeah, Ellen calling him a bad parent because he's trying to teach the kids not to be a couple of spoiled little fucking brats that annoy him while he's driving by screaming every time they pass a place they want to stop at. And teaching the kids that, like, they don't get everything they fucking want is a pretty important part of being a parent, I would say. So if anybody, I would say Ellen, that like literally calls him a bad parent because he does this. She's the asshole.
Or he could have said no and driven past all. Well, he wanted coffee, and he wanted to fucking give his little brats a lesson. I don't know. I'm so anti-kid that I might be like biased on this, but I hate kids. So Ellen. But of course, yeah, Charles by most people's standards.
Charles, total fucking what a total piece of shit.
I mean,
for trying to raise two children that aren't entitled.
If I still was a kid and I was remembering those days of my life, and one of my parents did that to me, I would definitely think they were an asshole. But I'm an adult now, and I'm a child hating adult. So yeah, Ellen sucks. Fuck them.
I mean, like, I don't understand, man. There's this idea that there can be no boundaries and there's no way to teach your children a fucking lesson. It's just like they are not harmed by him pulling into McDonald's and ordering himself a fucking coffee and leaving. In fact, that is probably going to stick with them a whole lot more because somebody was just like, why don't you just tell him no? I was like, and what happens the next time you drive by somewhere they want to go and they're chanting and screaming for you to do it? You're just going to put up with that for the rest of your life? Apparently. Or do you want them to stop the behavior? Because unless you're going to advocate for spanking a child, you got to have some other way to impress on the child that it's bad to do that.
I think it's pretty fucking Chad move to fucking to go through the McDonald's and just get yourself something and just sit there and drink your coffee in front of them. Like, fuck you, you little pieces of shit.
It's a total dad move. It's a dad move,
it's
too.
It's a dad Chad move. They're just hating on him for being a Chad dad. That's all it is.
True.
All right. What we got now is a fucking potato tier list, y'all. And we said we're not going to do as many tier lists on the show, just so you guys know, because usually you can't fucking tell what the fuck is going on with them. But this time around, you can fucking read this shit. So that's
and
good.
There's not a ton of them either. This is not going to take fucking an hour and a half to do. That's another problem I have with these.
So this is nice. It's reasonably short, and it's fucking labeled. So we're gonna do it. So we got S, which I don't even like this S shit. I'm just gonna get rid of this.
You don't like S tier?
I don't need no S tier.
What's wrong?
I actually got rid of the A tier instead. All right,
whatever. Yeah, you did.
Just do it like this.
Boom.
There you go. I don't need no because A. I never got no S in school. You did well on something, you got a fucking A. That's as good as it gets.
Okay.
Fuck that S shit.
Whatever you say, partner.
And why is there an E? There didn't even be no E.
You're such a boomer, TJ.
If we're grading shit, there ain't no damn E. Get out.
Such a boomer, we go, man.
Back in my day, there was no S tier, so getting rid of the S tier.
Paul, when we both sided with Charles in that last example, we both proved our boomerdom, okay?
I guess so, yeah.
So don't even worry about it.
You're right about that.
Now we're on to potatoes. All right, baked potato. So this is
I don't know how this question works because a baked potato on its own is pretty fucking gross.
Well, we're gonna look, we see that there's some stuff on it here. Look, baked potatoes traditionally are served with at least butter
and salt.
And salt, like at the very minimum.
Right. And if you have those two things, a baked potato is great.
And if you have some bacon and some cheese and some other stuff, like maybe some little green onion and shit, some sour cream, I don't know. The more shit you add on the baked potato, that at least if it goes with it, the better the fucking baked potato really is.
Yeah, a loaded baked potato is at least A tier. I agree. If not the S tier that we were denied. It's one of my favorite ways to have a fucking potato. Is loaded down with shit.
Dude, yeah. I mean, a baked potato is fucking dope. Especially like I don't eat baked potatoes a lot, so when I do, it's like a special occasion. And to me, a baked potato like kind of combines the best of both worlds between like the roasted kind of potato and the mashed potato. And if you got that, if you cooked it right, I'll even eat the fucking skin, and I don't normally eat the skin on a potato in most other instances.
Oh yeah, so. if you put a little bit of melted butter on the outside of it, or a little bit of oil on the outside of it, and a little bit of salt, and you crisped up that skin a little bit, I'll fucking eat that shit for sure.
Yeah, that's some good shit.
What's next? Cheesy potato. So is this like scalloped potatoes?
Yeah, I mean,
no, because scalloped potatoes are actually on here.
Yeah, scalloped potatoes are later. So
what the fuck are cheesy potatoes?
See what they're fucking qualifying this as. So cheesy.
I don't
potatoes,
know if I've ever had it.
It's like almost like more casserole style kind of thing.
I mean, that's scalloped potatoes though.
Well, it's like a different kind of see.
Oh, so it's like hash browns.
It's like a cheesy like they have it Cracker Barrel.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. I could give or take these honestly. These are definitely not
fond of those.
You're what?
I'm pretty fond of them.
You like the cheesy potatoes?
I do. I would say for me, I'd probably give them a B. You sound like you'd be more in the C or D range.
I mean, I'm fine with them being a B, but a C is where I would probably plop them. Yeah, just out of expectation.
Yeah, I'll put them in C because honestly, they have to be done right.
I mean, all of these have to be done.
I mean,
right.
Yeah, but like a baked potato, there's a little bit more room for error. Cheesy potatoes, like they got to be a certain way, And you got to have the right like cheese to potato ratio, and the hash browns have to be cooked to a certain fucking place. And if it's not all just so, it kind of doesn't really taste that great.
Yeah.
So potato chips. I mean, potato chips are fucking good. You sit there and you just eat potato chips watching a fucking TV show, or, you have it as a little side with your sandwich or whatever the fuck. I mean, it's always welcome, but it's never really like, oh shit, potato chips. You're not like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah. I like potato chips, don't get me wrong, but they're a side.
Right.
They're and not in a way that because a lot of people say, oh, so is a baked potato, so are cheesy potatoes, but they're like maybe not a side. They're a snack food.
Right.
They're not usually part of a meal.
They can be a side. I mean, like, look, you go to some restaurants, like they'll give them to you. Like a lot of restaurants, they have like, oh, we don't have fries, we have chips or whatever.
And I'm always disappointed.
You always feel that pang of like, oh. I mean, it's not like you're like,
now they're telling you that a snack food is now part of your main meal.
Right.
And it's
so it's
like,
that's not as good.
So yeah,
or you go to
potato
Subway,
chips
it's like, here's some potato chips. Like, man, I don't know. They're good though. I mean, like, you'll eat them, and I'll never fucking turn them down. There's plenty of days in my life where I've eaten potato chips, but I'm never excited about a potato chip. I'm never like, fucking holy shit, potato chips.
Yeah, I'm usually not either. There's some really good potato chips for sure, but
so I'm probably saying C for this too.
Yeah, C.
Curly fries.
Don't you hate curly fries?
No, I love curly fries. That's one of my favorite.
But you hate waffle fries.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll still eat them. I'd even give waffle fries like probably a B.
I mean, curly fries, any type of French fry, honestly, except for shoestring, to me is A tier. Like, I love a French fry.
I'm perfectly comfortable putting curly fries on A tier.
Yeah, the double stuffed potato. I think that's the same thing, right? That's like a baked potato. That's
a double stuffed potato is like a baked potato that's kind of like been like semi mashed and then baked again.
Yeah, it's like twice baked. Okay. Yeah. See, I didn't know. I looked ahead and loaded baked potato is on here.
Okay, so regular baked potato probably should go down to B then.
Yeah, if somebody makes baked potatoes and all they have is a little butter and salt to put on them, I'm not turning it down, but I'm sorely vexed. I'm disappointed that there's no bacon.
We're just gonna go ahead and
loaded baked potato should be up there for sure.
Yeah.
Double stuff. Hey, I've had these before. These like twice baked potatoes. They are fucking pretty good. I'd say like A or B tier for me.
I'm gonna say B because I just don't feel like I eat them enough to really like kind of know. But when I
don't eat them
they
very
are
often
really
either.
Good.
My mom will make them every once in a while as like a side or whatever for.
You know what? Fuck it. We're loading up the A tier, but you know what? Potatoes are fucking good.
Potatoes are great. Yeah, French fries are great. I mean, they gotta be A tier.
Every French fry.
For me, like, dude, gnocchi. The only time gnocchi is gross is if you get like pre-made, canned, like frozen gnocchi at a place. Like if you get actual gnocchi that's made that day, handmade. It is almost like you can't fuck it up. It's so good.
Yeah, gnocchi's fucking badass.
I usually hate hash browns, but when they're done correctly, hash browns are pretty fucking great.
I could tell you this. I've made a bunch of hash browns in my life, and I usually am not too fond of them. And I'm usually not too fond of the ones I get at restaurants. But when I think of hash browns, I think about them Waffle House hash browns. And I actually found some hash browns at a restaurant around where I live now that I think might even give Waffle House a run for their money. So I'm going to say hash browns are, when they're done right, they're really good. But a lot of times hash browns do fucking suck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hash browns that are just like overcooked, undercooked, fucking mushy garbage, overly crunchy bullshit.
They don't stick together, so it's like a bunch of like underdone fries on your plate, And
then you're like, they're falling through the fork and shit. And it's like, I don't know. It's just like there's so many times that it's a fucking disaster. But when it's good, it's so fucking good.
Yep. It's a lot of variance. I think we gotta put that in the thing. I think we gotta put it at B just for that.
Yeah, because
just to take into account the variance that can
when
happen.
It sucks, it's a fucking C, but when it's good, it's a fucking A. So I'm gonna fucking be generous to it and put it here at B.
Yeah. So I know what these are. These are those spiral cut potatoes.
Yeah. They could be sometimes they're spiral cut, sometimes they're actually just like sliced long ways, but with like a little like skin membrane on the bottom.
The way through, yeah.
And if you do it right, they get really crispy and they do taste nice. They're kind of like a fancier version of the potato chip.
Yeah, I don't really like them all that much for that reason. They just feels like they've chosen a way to make the potato that like dries it out and desiccates it a little bit and makes it more like a chip, and I'm just not into that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say D for that because I'm usually not too excited about it.
Dude, mashed potatoes are fucking A tier.
You know what? I'm putting S tier back.
Mashed potatoes are absolutely like fucking heavenly, godlike fucking food. Dude, I make some killer mash.
Yeah, you do.
I make some really good mashed potatoes, man.
Yeah, you make them.
Because I understand the potato, dude.
Come on. It won't.
I'm Irish as fuck.
Whatever. We'll know that's S in our hearts.
Yeah.
It won't let me do it.
Damn.
Yeah, it's literally it'll let me put a fucking thing there, but it won't let me change it. All right, whatever. Fuck it. New is as in always just as good as if it were brand new to you.
Dude, this might be the first F tier right here, dude. Any savory fucking pancakes? No, thank you. No thanks.
Oh, you're insane. Potato pancakes are the bomb, bro.
Nope. No thanks.
Oh, you've lost your mind.
Dude, the pancake shape and texture is meant only for fucking butter and syrup, dude. You start to put creme fraiche on there,
Paul. No,
you start to put herbs in it.
Come to your senses.
No savory pancakes for me.
Oh my God, Paul, you're evil. You're pure, unadulterated evil.
No savory pancakes.
Disagree with you. I've never disagreed with you more strongly in my life, Paul. Please.
No savory pancakes, man.
Come to your senses.
Keep that shit where it belongs, man. Keep the pancake fucking... Dude, I'm a pancake originalist, TJ. You know what you put on a pancake? You put butter and you put fucking maple syrup on a pancake. And you call something a pancake, and I get it. And it's this big herb potato cake with creme fraiche on the top of it. I'm going to throw that shit in the fucking waiter's face and tell him how dare they bring that fucking shit to my table.
94 agrees with you like an idiot, but Ignar Husky says you're a moron. And
no, Ingar Husky doesn't know. He doesn't know his fucking ass from a hole in the ground.
Potatoes are originally from Peru. Who cares? That has nothing to do with anything, bro.
I mean, look, dude, it's Mr. Facts. He's in the building.
What are we gonna do?
You're not a true Irishman? Fuck you. You don't even get to tell me I'm not a fucking true Irish and Ingar Husky. Dude, I guarantee you if TJ was saying it sucked and I was saying it was good, you'd still be sucking TJ's balls. I know you, dude. You're a Tajika fan. Ingar.
I never knew there were so many idiots in our chat that hated the fucking potato pancakes. You're all so dumb. You're all so stupid.
They're gross.
You know, I'm making potato pancakes tonight just to fucking spite all of you.
Go ahead. Deprive yourself. Because you know what's going to happen, TJ? I guarantee you. You're going to make potato pancakes just to spite me tonight. And you're going to sit down and they're going to be steaming in your face. You're going to have your fork and you're about to take a bite and you're going to think, man, I wish this was regular pancakes with syrup and butter right now. You're going to think it. You won't admit it. You won't admit it.
You're insane. That's not true. I will never fucking think that because it doesn't even have a similar taste or texture to a pancake. So you don't even really other than the name. It doesn't really have much to do with it. I mean, this is insane. Where do we put this? Because you're trying to say F. I would say A.
Let the people decide.
Where does it go? Tell us what to do with it, people. All right, the people shall decide. How do I create a fucking poll on here? Can you do that through this fucking shit?
I think you gotta go. Here, I'll do it. I'll take care of it.
All right, Paul is gonna do it. Don't fucking do some one-sided poll.
No, I won't.
You gotta do right by the poll. All right, while it's going, we'll move on. Roasted potatoes. I hate these fucking potatoes, honestly. I mean, they're all right. I'll eat them, but I'm never excited about this shit.
Yeah, they're definitely not my favorite way to have potatoes, but
they're fine.
They're a good side if you've got a lot of other good stuff. But on their own, yeah, they're not the star of the show ever.
I don't know. I want to say D, but I'll go to C if you think they belong there.
I mean, yeah, they can be a pretty fucking C tier, I think. We gotta load that up a little bit. We gotta have a little bit of C tier, and I think that they definitely can be C tier for sure, pretty easily.
Okay. So this is a contentious one, I know, because a lot of people do not like potato salad. But honestly, there's so many kinds of potato salad that, how do you really know that? Because, I've definitely had some potato salads.
With it, I think.
I've had some potato salads where I'm like, this shit is nasty. And I've had someone that were like, man, this shit's really fucking good.
Dude, my mom's potato salad is like ambrosia. I will literally, she will make, or she used to. She's getting up there in age now. She doesn't make it as often as she used to. But I'm telling you, man, she used to make this giant tub of this shit. And there were times where they were having some stuff I just didn't feel like eating. I had nothing but potato salad. I'll just sit and eat a plate of that shit.
Oh my God.
But there are other times where I go to somebody's fucking dinner and they're like, "Oh, have some potato salad." And it's just like, ugh, why did I have?
I think a lot of people, I honestly believe that a lot of people who hate potato salad have just not had good potato salad. Because I feel like there are so many bad ones out there that probably people would be like, I've given it 2 or 3 tries and I've always hated it. You have no idea how many fucking variants of potato salad there are. It is insane. I would go so far as to say that no 2 potato salads fucking taste alike. They're all fucking so vastly, weirdly different that, like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to even grade them on a letter scale because it's all over the fucking place. There's fucking ones that are terrible and like they're pretty common. And then there's ones that are mediocre and they're pretty common. And then there's ones that are really fucking good. And honestly, they're pretty common. I mean, it's almost like kind of split evenly. So I feel like almost like by that logic, I feel like they almost have to go to like C.
Yeah,
just because I agree. The fucking map.
There's too much variance to put it in A tier because you're absolutely right, man. If you get a bad potato salad, it's just kind of cold and wet and pickly and gross. If you get a really good one though, you're in heaven. Yeah. Well, my mom puts egg in potato salad. She boils eggs and she will put boiled eggs in the potato salad. And that to me is a good indicator of the quality of the potato salad. You got to have the full fucking boiled eggs in there for sure.
Scallop potatoes, I think done right, those are pretty fucking good. Obviously, anything done wrong is not gonna be great, but like if these are done even remotely well, I feel like a scallop potato is a pretty fucking respectable side.
Yeah. By the way, the poll is up for potato pancakes, so go take a look. Go take a look at that and vote. I'll be monitoring that.
Vote. All right. So I don't know, scallop potatoes for me, I'd say B.
Yeah, they're not my favorite style of potato, but they're good. I'll go B as well.
I mean, at least it's a side. It's a respectable side dish. It's not some dog shit.
No,
you're not dreading it.
No.
So potato soup. This is potato trying to be the fucking star of the show usually. And
yeah, usually potato soup is not usually good.
Usually potato soup is like the side hustle. Now, I'm not saying there's not some good potato soup out there. I actually make a potato soup that I think is really good, but it's a very unusual, like a German soup. It has some kind of German name. It's like Kroffen, Fessen, Weifen, Schugen, Schlagen, Liegen. But most fucking potato soups I've had, honestly, kind of underwhelming, and that gets that grittiness thing going on that is not, like, honestly, a super pleasant thing to me, you know, like, I'm talking about, like, that potato grit that it gets.
Yeah, for sure. I know what you're talking about.
And it's not like a horrible sensation, but it's kind of unpleasing.
Dude, the only time that potato soup ever stood out to me was when I was a teenager. I went to this union dinner and they had vichyssoise there.
That's what it is. Skeptical Jesus is Kartoffel soup.
Yep. They had pretty good shit. I don't know if you've ever had vichyssoise, which is it's cold potato soup.
No, I never had that.
And it might sound gross, but dude, that was the best fucking shit. I wanted more and more of that. It tasted real. It's not like freezing cold. It's chilled. It's not served hot.
I would say potato soup for me would be like another C.
Yeah, it's definitely a C.
If you're trying to serve it to me as my main course, it better be really fucking good. But if you're trying, I mean, like, then I would say it's more like D. Yeah. But if it's like a little cup of soup on the side, I could see it being all right. I'll say C. Steak fries, to me, that's just fries,
I mean, yeah, they're the same thing as fries. It's just another form of the fry, for sure.
Yeah, so, and there's also waffle fries here, which I don't like as much. I'd say B, but I'll like put the irrational fry debate aside and let those be at A.
Right.
Potato wedges, a little too. It's like that's like a fry that got out of control to me. Too much.
They're definitely a proper potato wedge is like a quarter of a potato. That's right. Or like at least close to a quarter of the potato. That's too much potato. It's no longer a fry at that point.
Yeah, like the crispy edge, it's still nice and stuff, but like the crispy edge to the fucking creamy center ratio is off. And honestly, the center doesn't really get creamy enough to justify it to me.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Yeah.
Potato like B tier or C tier. Yeah.
I'm saying C. Tater tots. I mean, to me, that's top of the fucking game right there. Yeah.
S tier, right there next to the mashed potatoes, dude.
Because I'll tell you what,
tier.
If I'm at a place and they say like, you want fries or tots, I ain't getting fries.
You're getting tots.
I'm
for
getting
sure.
tots
Me too.
every time because they're just better.
There's only one fast food joint that does that, Sonic, man. Sonic. And every time I've never gotten the fries at Sonic, not one time.
Yeah.
Because a fry is great, but a tot is fucking transcendent.
Amen. Agreed. 100%.
And so yeah, the it looks like the numbers are in. 67% of people think that a potato pancake is good. Only 32%, a strong showing, by the way, think it's blasphemy to serve such a fucking
All right. Well, given that level of contentiousness, I'd say B.
I won't argue for it, although I would put it in the toilet where it belongs. You know, if it was,
I'll put it in the toilet after I enjoy eating it and then digest it.
I'll skip it. I'll skip the whole fucking middleman.
Skip it.
Take my plate. You know what? I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
If I ever go over to somebody's house, and I try to be a gracious guest, I think I'm a pretty gracious guest. If I ever go to somebody's house and they serve me a fucking potato pancake, I'm gonna make I'm just gonna stand up. I'm gonna take that fucking plate and I'm gonna go directly to their fucking. I'm gonna say, "Where's the head? I need to get rid of some shit."
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna fucking take the whole plate in there and not just the potato pancakes, anything that they touched on the plate, going right in the toilet, going right in the fucking toilet, and then I'm gonna spit in the toilet and flush it.
You know, this segment has made me want fucking potatoes. Really bad.
I mean, yeah, I definitely dude, who would you kill for a big portion of perfect mashed potatoes with perfect gravy right now?
Pretty much everyone on earth.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, all of them.
Any old fucking time, I'd be willing to end the human race for a mashed potato portion.
Yeah, just one scoop, you know?
Yep, just one scoop.
Okay, so that's
anyone and everyone. Same thing goes for some tots, man. If I could have just a big pile of tots right now, all crispy, some ketchup next to them to dip. You guys are fucking on the hook, man. I'm sorry. Your whole fucking life has amounted to nothing because I'm hitting the button for my tots.
Paul's pressing the fucking eject. All right. Okay.
About to eat potatoes in the form of Taco Bell nacho fries. Yeah, they're pretty good. Like, their fries are pretty good. It's like a seasoned fry or whatever. It's pretty decent.
So, having an interesting little issue here. My keyboard does not seem to work anymore. Like, that's why it wasn't working earlier, because it wasn't tier list. It was the keyboard.
So here's what you got to do. Okay. You got to unplug your keyboard.
I'm going to unplug it and plug it back in.
Yeah. That'll most likely fix his problem. Unless there's some kind of maybe the USB port that he's using fried or some shit. That's the worst case scenario. But yeah, the old unplug and replug. This used to be an issue you used to have to like restart your computer to do. But modern computers have gotten pretty decent at like the whole plug and play thing. I recently bought, dude, I'll tell you guys about this shit because this is kind of sad to me, honestly. I'm going to show you guys a relic. Look at this shit, dude. I couldn't even bring myself to throw it away. This has been the controller that I use to play video games for probably like 15 fucking years, I would say, maybe even longer. This is an Xbox 360 wired controller, the old USB, plug it in and go. And recently, and this is what happens to older, but it didn't, you know what, dude, this one held up great. Recently, what started happening was I started getting like drift. So like this one in particular, this left thumbstick, which probably gets a lot of fucking use, started to hold itself in position sometimes and like it doesn't spring back the way it was supposed to. And I finally had to get rid of this and get a new fucking controller. And I was so sad, dude. Because in my opinion, that's the best fucking controller right there for modern games. You can rebuild controllers. I know. I actually got one from a Chinese company. I don't remember the name of it, but this is called the King Kong 2 controller. That's got the thumbsticks are really good. I don't purport to understand it, but apparently these don't do what those other thumbsticks do. They don't like dead zone. And so, yeah, I've been playing with this for the last few days, and it's good. But I would prefer to have my old controller back, to be honest with you.
You're so used to it after all this time.
Dude, so many fucking years. Like I was just telling them, 15 or 20 years I used that 360 controller for everything.
And now it's fucked.
It's dead. It's fucked.
Well, my keyboard's back to life after unplugging and replugging it. It's never happened before, but I guess there's a first time for everything. Might be a sign that maybe the old keyboard is getting ready to just shit out on me, but maybe it's just a once in a lifetime. Maybe it's just a little momentary hiccup. I don't know. We'll see.
Could have been static electricity. The USB ports are very, very well. Everything on your computer is very sensitive to static electricity.
Yeah, that's true. And there's been a lot of storms lately, I guess. So maybe there's something to do with that. I don't know. So anyway, we're gonna look at Prager U video. This is
more God bothering shit, man.
Yeah.
More God bothering to look at tonight. I really do think it's important that people in our position, like people that that have whatever you want to call us, leftist positions, go back to fucking shitting on religion.
Yeah,
because I'm telling you, man,
it just continues to rear its ugly. Like we fucking, as much as I hate to fucking say it, I got sick of the fight, but like we left before the job was done. Like we're just like, enough of your shit. And then it's like, next thing we know, they fucking like come behind us with a steel chair and shit because we turn our back. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah, they're just getting louder and more fucking assertive in the
so
last
now it's
10
time
years.
for fucking 19th wave atheism to come along again and fucking be like, this is dumb for the 12 millionth time. This is dumb.
See, this is one of those things that the Zoomer generation and the fucking millennials are going to struggle with because they're all about radical tolerance, which I love. But I'm just saying the only time you can't be radically tolerant is if there's an element in your society that's literally trying to fucking murder you, take your rights away from you, enslave you. And that's Christians, dude. Make no bones about it. If Christians actually got the full-blown like world theocracy that they all think should exist, dude, there would be beheadings in the streets of every fucking city. There would be constant fucking crusades against free thinkers and anybody that didn't toe the line of Christianity. It would be a fucking medieval nightmare overnight. And that's that's what's at stake with these fucking people. That's what they want. These Christian dominionists, they want that.
We got Dennis Prager himself too. So
yeah, I mean, this guy is he's a capitalist Christian.
Yeah.
Prager. I don't really think Prager's a true believer. I think if Prager thought he could make a bigger dollar being an atheist, he'd switch up today. But he's still fucking dangerous because he arms these types of people with bad arguments and sends them out into the world to use them.
Oh, that's his main thing.
The only way to become a good person or to make a better society is by studying goodness. Many people think all you need to do good or be good is to have good intentions. But you can no more be good without studying how to be good than you can play piano without studying how to play piano or practice medicine without
I would argue that the term good is so incredibly subjective. It's like evil for me. Like, I don't like using either of those terms because I think it infantilizes most discussions and ignores nuance. Like, the idea of something being 100% incontrovertibly good, like, how could you ever know that? Good is whatever society decides is good at the time. And that's all I know. Like, I know good as a concept. Good as a concept has been something completely different every generation of man that's ever come across. And it's true. You can go back and look at it. What people consider to be good, you go back to Victorian America, and it was considered good for women to be completely oppressed, sexually abused by their husbands, sold into marriages when they were teenagers, where, forced to marry some fucking 80 or 90-year-old dude or whatever the fuck for his dowry chest. Like, that was good. And Dennis Prager is an agent of the people that would stand here still today and say that was good if he could take you back to it. Because it was a time that was way, way more in tune with the fucking sex-shaming, woman-oppressing Christian morality that this guy and his ilk are fucking trying to sell, period.
Yeah, and I mean, like, someone pointed out that Dennis Prager is Jewish, but like, just like Ben Shapiro, when they're right-wing commentators, they might be Jews, but they definitely carry an immense amount of water for Christians, right?
I mean, apples and oranges, but they're both fruits in my mind.
Exactly.
That's the way that's the way I put it, you know. Like
both
that's
round,
how I deal with
sweet
that.
fruits, you know, there's some differences, but
and there really aren't as many differences when it comes to like dominionists from those religions. When you're talking to people that believe that religion should sweep the world and eradicate other religions, ultimately, there's really not much difference between a Jewish dominionist and a Christian dominionist. They have the same ideas about women. They have the same ideas about oppressing people of different race. They have the same ideas about controlling speech. They have the same ideas about compelling speech, compelling attendance of a church, mandating belief in God. Like just all the crazy fucking nonsense. And if you think this isn't a war going on, look at how it's still a thing that shows up in the news every couple of months. That some school district is being sued because they're trying to force people to pray. You know what I mean? Like it's just constantly like they're still pushing the boundaries of this shit.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a very clear, concise constitutional law that says that they are not allowed to fucking use public institutions to proselytize, and they are constantly doing it. Dude, there are fucking public schools all over the South, guaranteed, where you're forced to pray anyway.
I mean, look, even if you're not forced to pray, because I went to school in some pretty conservative right-wing places. Even if you're not forced to pray, you're still subjected to like a lot of Christian rhetoric from people in authority that are not necessarily supposed to be fucking doing that. You know, so it's like it's very much a part of school life. At least it was when I was going to school.
Medicine. There's a word for the study of goodness and how to make a good world. Wisdom. Unfortunately,
this is a guy who is talking to people that he clearly has contempt for their intelligence.
They don't see it though,
and so he's talking to them like they're babies. But they're not. But I guess he's right because they're not smart enough to see through it and resent it. So,
yep.
Because it's like there's a word for the study of goodness. It's called wisdom, and people are like, "Oh, wisdom! I've heard that." Like smart people do the wisdom. All right, there, Bruno.
Fortunately, however, for much of the last century, few schools and even few parents have taught wisdom. The result,
I thought, look, wisdom is not really something you could fucking teach.
No,
if
you know what this graph is?
My understanding, this graph
religiosity.
Is
this graph is
totally
religiosity.
Yeah.
That's what's on the down rise when it comes to public institutions mandating it and people mandating it in the home.
So wisdom here is just like a stand-in for for like religion, basically.
In order to be wise, you have to study goodness. What better way to study goodness than to read the actual word of God, the Creator?
I love how they try to make it a chart. Like there's no chart here, guys. This is just like, I love these like made up Prager U charts where it's like, yeah, we've measured how people have fallen into the moral chaos zone within the last century, you guys.
Yep.
Like, oh my God. It's like, where's the data? Charts are for data. They're not for bullshit feelings.
Is moral chaos. Most of the wisdom of Western civilization, the civilization that has been the most successful in history,
is drum roll.
Making good societies. Comes from the Bible.
Oh, I'd never fucking seen it coming. Oh my God, the Bible, it was there all along.
Shocking.
It was there all along.
A book filled with incest, bloodletting, genocide, rape, torture, murder, all sanctioned, by the way, by the central figure of the Bible, Yahweh.
Ah, yes. Nuggets of wisdom.
And
Psalm
if you want to look at
137:9, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
Smash the babies, burn the witches, kill the homosexuals, the ultimate moral goodness.
Yeah, go into the city and kill every man, woman, and child, but the young women keep for yourselves, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, Moses said that. That's not the villain. That's not the villain of the Bible talking. That's one of the heroes of the Bible.
Yeah, that's God's messenger on earth. That's the guy that he spoke directly to.
That's his
on the
buddy.
mountain.
So
he gave
like,
Moses. That's the guy that he gave the law to. So yeah, man, you really and see how one conclusion just like naturally leads to the other. He's just like this big subjective fucking speech he gives at the beginning that's only meant to appeal to people who think in black and white. Because if you think in nuanced terms at all, you're like, what's good, what's bad,
think about what he did. He was like, goodness, which is what is really goodness, wisdom, which is what is really wisdom, the Bible.
Yeah.
So it's just like we've transubstantiated goodness into wisdom into the Bible. So it's like, all right, yeah, just go fucking jerk yourself off a little harder, you little bitch.
See, but you're absolutely right. This is made for for childish minds. Religion is obviously presented to childish minds because it doesn't hold up to base scrutiny. And so, yeah, if you're like, he's talking to them like they're kindergartners because that's how religion treats you. Like you're a little fucking bad kid that needs to be scolded.
It was the most influential book ever written.
Yeah. Very unfortunately.
Yeah, notice how inherent in that fact is not positive or negative, right? That doesn't come into that. We're not going to have that conversation. We're just going to call it the quote most influential because we know that you could probably make arguments for some good things that have happened in the name for Christianity and the name of Christianity. I know that I can make a few arguments for bad things that have happened. The subjugation of women, slavery, genocide, rape, invasion of other countries, the taking of other people's things, all justified and inspired by the Bible. So yeah, most influential book in history, maybe, but isn't that a little bit more, nuanced than you're presenting it
it's
here?
A little bit more loaded than you might initially think
when it's influenced a lot of genocides and influenced a lot of racial cleansings and influenced a lot of serial killers to go out and prey on people, among other things, influenced a lot of governments to do horrible things to their own people.
So I'll share with you some of the wisdom from just one book of the Bible, the fifth, Deuteronomy.
So I'm going to cherry pick is what you've just told me.
I'm going to cherry pick some examples from Deuteronomy.
Yeah, I'm going to pick something that's very easy for me to point out. And I'm going to ignore the fact that it's probably undermined as an idea by the Bible itself. It's probably self-refuting oftentimes the Bible.
Yeah, usually.
Do not show partiality in judgment, chapter 1, verse 17. A compassionate society is built on justice, not compassion. That might sound counterintuitive, but while we should be compassionate in our private lives, the state must be preoccupied.
Okay, so this is basically like, look at what's being implied here. Christianity, jurisprudence didn't exist. The idea of dispensing justice rationally and fairly didn't exist until Christianity came on the scene about 2,000 years ago. There were no judges in the Roman Empire. There were no judges in ancient Greece. There was no system of law that existed that tried to at least have the appearance of fairness. None of that existed until Christianity came along. Because of that Deuteronomy quote right there, the very idea of justice was brought into being. It's like, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No one even thought of this shit. So here's the verse in its in completion, by the way. You shall not show partiality in judgment. You shall hear the small as well as the great. You shall not be afraid in any man's presence, for the judgment is God's. The case that is too hard for you, bring to me, and I will hear it. So basically, this is it basically just says like, okay, so hear out everybody, no matter what their standing in society is.
Right.
Don't be intimidated by powerful people, and because God is the ultimate judge. And if there's a case that's like, we can't figure this out, just bring it before God somehow.
There were legal protections for people's rights to appear before a judge and shit, or whatever amounted to a judge at the time, well before Christianity. This is not
only that, but like plenty of times in the history of America, people were not treated equally in the justice system. So
right.
America wasn't particularly influenced by this one. So like the idea that this was taken to heart, this verse, pretty absurd, because there was plenty of times in American history where people were not given fair trials. We're still living in one, by the way.
Reason for this law, judges are forbidden not only to show favor to the rich, but also to the poor.
Wow. Yeah. Point to any time in history, especially one that was ruled over by Christianity, where this has been the case. I'll wait.
Yeah. Just because the book says it, and it's like halfway decent, except for the part where it says the literally, like, if things get too rough, though, just turn to God.
Yeah, just talk to your imaginary friend.
But other than that, it's like it's got some pretty words in it, and I would even agree with some of them. But to say that this actually influenced society or Christian or like Christian society in any way, shape, or form, or that there's like impartiality shown to the rich and the poor, like, give me a break. The results speak for themselves. That is fucking flat not true. That could actually be supported with data.
There's no Christian governmental collaboration in the history of Christianity that you could point to where that was even close to applied, including including the one that we're living in now.
I won't go. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there was, but I ain't seen it. Ain't here. I know that. Ain't here anywhere I've ever heard of. So you're probably right.
The purpose of a judge is to dispense justice. 2.
Wow, what a statement.
Do not be afraid of anyone. Also, chapter 1, verse 17.
Wait, you're literally quoting the same exact fucking verse? Okay, well, I'll remind people.
I guess he's breaking it down into every little chunk of.
You shall not show partiality in judgment. You shall hear the small as well as the great. You shall not be afraid in any man's presence, for the judgment is God's. The case that is too hard for you, bring it to me, and I will hear it. Okay.
Every human being has fears. The question is, whom do we fear? And for most people,
for me, I fear an informed populace capable of seeing through my bullshit.
I mean, we have plenty of fears that aren't personified. Why is it whom do we fear? Shouldn't it be what do we fear?
Well, I mean, for all of his fears are probably people. So I don't like them trannies.
Well, only if you fear God will you not fear men. Pastor Dietrich Bonhoeffer, one of the few Germans to actively oppose the Nazi regime, and who was executed for doing so, feared God more than Hitler. If more Germans had feared God more than they feared Hitler, and if more Russians had feared God more than they feared Stalin.
Wow. No. You're totally full of shit, dude.
The Nazis used religion.
Yeah, I mean, Hitler invoked God in so many of his speeches. Like, go read through Hitler's speeches.
And
he
Stalin
God all over the place.
And Stalin made the government a religion. Yeah. And enforced it the same exact way. So come on.
Yeah, I mean,
let's be honest about this.
Ridiculous.
I hate when people point at Russia and go like, see, socialism doesn't work. And I'm like, you fucking idiot. That's not social. That like it might call itself socialism, but that's fucking crony capitalism and oligarchy. Like it looks just a different flavor than we have over here. That's not fucking socialism. Come on.
Oh, Paul, with a very untanky take. You're trying to shed your tanky image, Paul.
What?
I thought you're supposed to be a Russian shill.
Well, wait a minute, because then that's the thing that I love too.
You're a Russian
literally
shill,
the
Paul.
only opinion that's being talked about.
Don't challenge my conception of you as a total Russian shill that would never criticize the Soviet Union, Paul.
Dude, I love that.
Don't do it.
It's like that is like the most dangerous kind of reactionary shit that goes on in political discussion these days. It's like I have one opinion about one issue, which is that America probably shouldn't be arming the Ukrainians in a in ever escalating dick wagging competition with Russia. That probably has bad implications for the future of humanity. That's my position, and somehow, in the minds of these fucking like drones, these political drones that have been taught to listen to the media again. I love that. That's the radical position now. The radical position on the left is to like follow the media, do whatever the media says. The media says Russia bad, Ukraine good. So let's go with that. You know what I mean? I don't do that.
And then they extrapolate a bunch of fucking other opinions to you because you're like, oh, he's with this tribe. I've had it happen to me so many times.
Yeah,
they can't get out of that
because that's my opinion.
Brain, you know,
that's my opinion, and that makes me a fucking tanky. Or a fucking Stalin apologist or whatever.
Which is weird because, like, you think a tanky would want to escalate conflict, not de-escalate it, but whatever.
millions of people would not have been murdered. 3,
sure thing, bud.
You will find him if you seek him. Chapter 4, verse 29.
All right, let's find this motherfucker. Chapter 4, verse 29, you say. Let's fucking find it out. 429. Because he's not reading these verses for some fucking reason, even though he's quoting them.
Well,
but if from there
that's how
you
the Bible is used. This is
Yeah.
what pastors do oftentimes too. They will pick one little stanza out of the middle of a fucking book and preach about it for an hour and a half.
But if from there you seek the Lord God, you will find him if you seek him with all your heart and all your soul. So there you go.
Just as finding a spouse can take years of searching, so
what this has to do with goodness or wisdom or morality, I couldn't tell you, but there it is.
too finding God can take years of searching. But
wait a minute, he already snuck that premise by us in the first fucking 3 minutes, TJ.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
You dumb fuck, ain't you been paying attention?
We're still in the first 3 minutes.
the Christianity equals wisdom equals goodness section was right at the beginning, TJ. You not paying attention?
I need to focus. Sorry.
spouse, the effort is worth it. Without God, life has no ultimate, no objective meaning. If there's no God, every one of us is as insignificant as a grain of sand. It's not a coincidence that as few
Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind.
fewer Americans take God and religion seriously.
I don't even know. I mean, like, who cares? Like, this is just, you'll find your imaginary friend if you fucking pretend hard enough. Big deal. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Good for us, I guess.
Suicide and depression rates have risen dramatically.
Yep.
4,
all interconnected.
You shall have no other gods before me. Chapter 5, verse 7.
Oh, okay. 5-7, you say. It's just the yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing, actually. So there we go.
We have more gods in modern life than idol worshippers had in the ancient world. Just to cite one.
You don't just get to decide anything that people have like respect for as a god. Okay.
Yeah, your TV is a god. The internet is a god. It's like no. God
is talking about a very specific fucking concept. All right.
Look at this. I love on there is PhD too. Don't trust doctors. Trust God. You know what I mean? It's like fuck off.
They literally have like, okay. So this, I guess, is okay. So there's like so many representations of science here. You see that?
Yeah, don't trust science. A bunch of
a DNA strand, a PhD, a fucking microscope, a beaker full of some kind of chemical, the planets, nature. Don't trust anything other than the
like
fucking
a movie
phony
light,
baloney God of the Bible.
Everything like a movie set light up here. Don't trust movies.
Yeah,
don't trust science.
Everything should be taken with a healthy degree of skepticism, obviously. But God falls apart the second you apply even a tiny shred of skepticism to the concept.
If you're willing to be honest with yourself. But so many people don't have that as an aspiration. Being honest with themselves is they don't even know how to do it. They don't know the first thing about it. About actually listening to what they to actually like digging into what they believe. Most people have I think most people have very little interest in doing that.
I agree with you.
And religion, I think, preys on that proclivity amongst people. We want to be told what to believe rather than figure it out for ourselves.
And I love that this money grubbing piece of shit who everything he does is about fucking getting money from his billionaire donors and shit.
Right.
Don't worship money, of course.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you hold back your Prager U donation this month, you're worshiping money. You're coveting and hoarding money instead of just giving it to God's kingdom, TJ.
Yeah.
Of
Amen.
a dozen examples. Many secular people believe in science the way religious people believe in God and the.
Wow. Yeah. So here's the thing, buddy. Science. The secular people believe in science. First of all, plenty of religious people believe in science too. And honestly, like, science has proven itself. The fact that you're able to do this shows that science works. Now, we can talk about people who there are people who fucking maybe turn science into a religious precept in some regards. Maybe like you could say like someone like me, even who's like a futurist and a transhumanist, is doing that to some degree. But like the efficacy of science is demonstrable. The efficacy of God is nowhere to be fucking found. Like, we don't fucking accept. You guys have to have this thing called faith, which basically means like shut off your brain, don't question, and just accept this as the truth. You don't have to have faith in science. I mean, I guess maybe in some, like, okay, maybe if you want to get really philosophical, like we could all be brains and vats, and how can we trust any fucking this world is even real or whatever? Okay,
I mean, most of us don't understand like really truly have a deep understanding of the scientific precepts that we've been delivered. Like, most of us probably couldn't really explain gravity with much eloquence or detail.
Sure, I could,
but we believe in it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that I usually, when I'm talking to people about religion, I see the point. I just say, like, look, yeah, like, it's impossible for one man, especially in this society where you're forced into so many distractions. It's impossible for one man to have the definitive answer to a lot of questions. And so you're left as a person like, who do I trust? Right?
Yeah.
And my decision is I trust people that are part of an ongoing body of work, that the whole precept behind it is to prove itself wrong constantly by constantly testing and retesting its assumptions. I'm going to go with that long tradition before I go with a fucking book written by a bunch of goat herders fucking 4,000 years ago. And
yeah, that where the only fucking meat, like, we're literally like testing it or trying to like disprove it is like the most.
Yeah, it's blasphemy.
Yeah, it's like the most blasphemous thing possible.
It's just like, like, yeah, I will admit, like,
one thing is like scrutiny is good and we should always scrutinize. Now, that's not to say that like scientific institutions and stuff like that, of course they're marred by human bias and shit like that. But I think in the long run, science has shown a tremendous ability to fucking ultimately overcome bias, to ultimately overcome these sorts of like shortcomings. Now, it's not perfect.
It has a self-correcting mechanism built into it. Yeah, but at least
they're both systems. But one system is literally like shut the fuck up and do as we say, and the other system is like skepticism and inquiry is welcome. So, like, I mean, honestly,
necessary. Constantly retest these assumptions. Constantly retest these precepts. Because if you can come up, that alone has caused so much so much advancement for the human species, has come from just questioning our assumptions about the way things work through the scientific method. So this idea that, like, I admit it, dude. As a person, I rely a lot on science to answer basic questions about how I think reality works. I can't sit at a blackboard and do the physics formula that shows you how a fucking body in space orbits another body due to the gravitational pull.
Most people cannot do that. Like, and like even most scientists, like, if you're like a biologist, you're not necessarily going to fucking be able to do quantum physics. To some degree, you're probably gonna have a little bit more of an inroad than most people, but ultimately, you're gonna have to. You can't, because it can't all fit in one person's brain. Right. So there's not gonna be some person's like, I have a vast compendium of all knowledge. Now, maybe someday we'll get to that point through augmentation, but that's a whole other discussion.
And do I think science is co-opted by other forces? Absolutely. Like, science, there are times when science has been used for negativity, or scientific information has been suppressed by the greater community of scientists to the detriment of human beings. Well, look, absolutely.
I mean, like, look, we've done so many shows about medical science and shit. Like, some of the stuff medical science used to believe about human anatomy is fucking ridiculous. But the only reason we know it's ridiculous is because science moved on from those positions. And I'm sure that a lot of the stuff we believe now is going to seem ridiculous in 100 years, 200 years.
I mean, people have
before that,
people have said that a bunch of times. You hear that said all the time. It's like, 100 years in the future, people are going to talk about us irradiating people with cancer as one of the most ridiculous tomfoolery. But the truth of the matter is, it's the best way we've got right now.
Right. And
science has gone through. Like, it sucks, and it kills a huge amount of the people that, sometimes the cure ends up killing a person, but it's the only thing that we found that reliably and repeatedly shrinks fucking cancerous tumors in people and shit. And so it has to be, that's what we got right now. in the future, yeah, hopefully through the scientific method, there'll be a better way, a less invasive way, a less destructive way to do it. But I don't think that is, dude, you know where that isn't going to come out of? A fucking Christian church.
Yeah, when's the last time you heard of like, Christianity just made a major medical breakthrough?
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't happen.
Pastor, no fucking huckster like fucking Dennis Prager here is going to have the aha moment and cure cancer because he listened to the Bible. You know what I mean? It's going to be a scientist that does that.
The answer was right there all along.
There's a big problem with that. Unlike God and the Bible, science has nothing, simply nothing, to say about good and evil or about the meaning of life.
I mean, that's first of all debatable, but second of all, those things are so fucking subjective. Like to say that, I mean, like, first of all, like you can't prove that science doesn't have something to say about those things. Like good and evil, totally subjective. Meaning of life.
I mean, I disagree with the premise. The philosophy is a science. And it's a fucking it's a scientific examination of different philosophical perspectives and shit. So yeah, no, that science, like when it comes to good and evil as concepts, science has a lot to say about those things. Chief among them are the ambiguity of them and the malleability of them.
We have no way to fucking demonstrate like here's something that's good, here's something that's evil. Those are human concepts. But like, and how we assign them is going to be contingent on like culture and personal values and so on and so forth. And like,
you know what you are, TJ? You're a relativist.
I mean, yeah.
You're a relativist, leftist, Marxist.
The only argument that people ever make against relativism is it's messy. Well, so's the world. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, yeah, I think that's what attracts me to it because I'm trying to make sense out of something that I consider to be extraordinarily messy.
Yeah,
which
is the idea that there's going to be a clean solution to a messy problem is kind of weird to me.
I mean, hey, maybe someday there will be, but like I said, just like the fucking chemo and shit. Right now, in my opinion, my best bet is to go with like the ambiguity because it seems that that answers more questions than it raises.
Are you ready for number 5?
Yes, I'm ready.
Love God with all your heart. Chapter.
This has nothing to do with being good.
No, this is just like demanding that you feel a certain way about a being. So, and Christians don't see it this way. Like they don't look at a person that really values bodily and mental autonomy and like have any conception of why that person would be turned off by the idea of being forced to love something. This is God holding you at fucking gunpoint and saying, love me, bitch. Because if you don't love me, then I'm going to fucking roast you. I'm going to send you to the dark pit to freeze for the rest of your fucking life. That's the rest of eternity. That's, you know what I mean? That's horrible. And if you can't, like, if you want to talk to me about good and evil, but you want to paint a character from the very Bible that you're claiming is the source of the real explanation of good and evil as a horrible, evil despot that has at least one time that the Bible knows of wiped out the entirety of human existence and civilization because we displeased him or whatever. We didn't love him enough. What would you call that if that was a human being? Hitler. It would be like, I want to dominate the whole fucking planet and what you think. And if you think differently, I'm coming for you. That's the most horrible despot that you can imagine. But you want to talk to me about how your book, who that's the main character that we're being told we need to worship and love, is the source of like the real answer of what is good and evil. No, thank you. I think you might have it backwards. It's like a Sith Lord. You know what I mean? And a lot of Christians don't think about it because they put on the opposite type of like, they try to appear not like Sith Lords. They got Brooks Brothers and they got the pleated fucking pants and the fucking, little tucked in polo shirts, and they think they're not appearing like what they are. The only difference between a fucking Christian and a Sith Lord is that Sith Lords like robes a little more than Christians do. That's it.
Yeah, not even always true, by the way. Plenty of
they both have their
fucking
they both have their fucking, their dress code, and they're very easily identifiable. Like you like listen to what he said earlier. He's like, fear God. What? Don't you always say God's our Father? So like fearing your father means that he does violence to you and he lashes out at you and shit. And that's not right. That's not good, right?
God is definitely not a good parent. He's a total prick.
Chapter 6, verse 5.
All right, I'm gonna take. I've just like I've done throughout. I'm gonna fucking see what we got here. What are we working with?
6,
love the Lord
5.
your God with all the heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. So just like a directive to love God no matter what.
Not just love him, but love him with every fiber of your fucking humanity.
Yeah. Love him above all else, and just like to the detriment of everything else in life.
Right.
In the world,
if you don't,
it's difficult.
If you don't, you're gonna burn, TJ. To burn in the lake of fire for eternity.
For many people to love
God.
What
a moral system they've got set up here.
It's so beautiful, isn't it?
Dude, man, I can see why they say that the very concept of wisdom emanates only from the Bible.
Admit, I am one of
wisdom. That's another word for goodness.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Remember? Yeah.
Of them. God knows this love is difficult. That's why Deuteronomy commands us to love him. It's an amazing commandment, and it's amazing in another way. Deuteronomy is the first book in history.
It's amazingly stupid.
To present a God who loves human beings and who wants human beings to love him.
God has a funny way of loving human beings, dude.
Yeah, his love includes afflicting us with every goddamn horrible thing that exists in the world, afflicting us with parasites.
He just afflicted me with sneezing. You see that?
Yep. Afflict horrible sneezing fits, horrible allergies, wasting diseases, and fucking bot flies that lay fucking eggs in people's eyes and their little larvae eat the fucking eyeball. That sort of thing. That's why because God loves us. That's what we would call somebody that loves us. If it was a mad scientist that created all that shit, I could see you guys' argument for not believing science, and maybe I'd go with the Bible route. But seeing as it was actually, according to your own mythology, your God that created all that shit and afflicted me with it, I'm going to go with maybe he's not the one I should be worshiping. Maybe our ability to harness the systems that exist that he created, if he indeed did, maybe that route is the route that I'd like to go, rather than just worshiping the fucking being that did it. Because I'm telling you, dude, the being that did this was a horrible person, a violent sadist, the worst kind. If they were a person,
which they're not.
They're even scarier than that. They're like a fucking world-devouring entity with clearly nothing but malevolence in its heart.
Well, in reality, this is just like we're just we arose from nature, and there's no entity trying to harm us, as far as I know. I mean, there could be. I don't know that for sure. But if there is some kind of God, he either is sadistic or doesn't care. And George Carlin, I think, pointed that out in one of his specials, but it definitely is true. Like, you cannot explain. Either God is the weird, like he does not, like, what he thinks of as love is not what we think of as love, and there's just a total fucking disconnect, or he's a total sadistic prick. In fact, that's true either way. Or he has no concern for human beings or anything that we go through on this planet and is totally uninterested in it, and we're shit. Or like at best to him, we're just like, oh yeah, there's some curiosity that exists on that planet. Oh, that's that matter that's capable of suffering. Oh, interesting. Yes, like that's it. So there's just like if there is a God, they're basically either horrible or apathetic towards us, because there's no other explanation. You can't really explain the world that exists and then say there's a loving God. And you can't just go like, well, free will, which is always the out.
Nikki, the space predator theory is the dark jungle theory.
Right, yeah.
It's one of the posited explanations for if the Fermi paradox or whatever the fuck is true. If there are possibly like billions and billions and billions of these different advanced organisms out there, why haven't we met any of them? And there are a bunch of answers to that. One of them is the great filter, but this one takes the great filter a little farther. Dark jungle theory posits that the reason that we haven't met any of them is that as soon as one of them, that like there's some other species that has gotten so advanced and so predatory that as soon as you develop the ability to broadcast your existence a certain distance, they come and get you and snuff you out of existence, which is probable on some level, maybe not as probable as some other explanations, but it's definitely possible that the reason why we haven't met an alien civilization is just that there's some other alien civilization that grew to dominate all others, that as soon as it detects one on the borders of its vast territory that has thinking beings on it, it comes for them and harvests them.
Repeat them again and again to your children. Chapter 6, verse 7.
All right. Deuteronomy 6:7, we say, indoctrinate the youth, impress them upon your children, talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road. This seems like I need to fucking go to 6 too, to like kind of see what they're talking about. I'm the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. 6, 7. I'm on 5. Why am I on 5? All right, let's go to 6. 6 and 6, 7. These commands that I give you today are to be on your heart. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get them up. Tie them as a symbol on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your house and on your gates. So basically just be like a fucking total fanboy for this bullshit.
Parents need to teach their children wisdom and moral values all the time. In the words of Deuteronomy, talk about them when you're at home.
I said the
when you're on the road
earlier. I meant the Drake equation.
Okay.
Not the Fermi paradox. It's the Drake equation that posits that there are billions of civilizations.
And when you go to bed and when you get up. Otherwise, others, such as morally confused teachers and social media, will teach your children neither wisdom nor good values.
We're on. This is your social media right now. So I don't know what the fuck.
Right.
7.
I thought there was 5 of these. Why is there already?
You
there
shall
7?
be happy. Chapter 12, verse 7. That there is a biblical law to be happy is what has shaped my entire approach to happiness.
Wow. There in the presence of the Lord, you and your family shall eat and shall rejoice in everything you have put your hand to, because the Lord your God has blessed you. Doesn't really seem to ever declare you have to be happy anywhere in there, but okay.
That it is a moral obligation, not just an emotional state. We owe being, or at least acting happy, to everyone in our lives, and yes, even to God, because no one makes
that shit. Fuck that shit, man. Dude, you owe it to everybody in your lives to never be honest with anybody around you, to fake happiness, to plaster on a fucking smile and pretend that you're happy. Like, how fucked up is that? Like, who looks at that and goes, yep, that's right? Is it
even if you feel miserable inside, plaster on a big old fake smile and grin your way through the pain.
It's like, ugh, what a gross fucking. But I mean, it's definitely the type of ideology I would expect to spring forth from a fucking weird tentacled zealot, fucking oppressive, weird intergalactic piece of shit like Yahweh.
For
amen.
Atheism more persuasively than unhappy religious people. Deuteronomy is filled with life-enriching insights like these.
Religion is filled with unhappy people. Like, why is religion filled with so many unhappy people then? If that's a commandment, why are religious people always falling so short of what they're commanded to do in this fucking Bible? If it's the perfect truth, then why does reality always completely and utterly just fucking stand in opposition to what's observable?
Terry, on the first 5 books of the Bible, those books are the best antidote to unhappiness and the best protection against evil.
Why? Based on what?
Because Dennis Prager says so.
So basically, because I mean, like, let's just go over these rules here. What do any of these have to do with goodness? Don't show your partiality. I can see that one maybe connecting to goodness because, like, okay, yeah, treat everyone like the same in matters of justice.
Right.
Do not be afraid, except for of God.
Yeah, only fear God.
Nothing to do with goodness. Just about obedience to some fucking edict, usually controlled by a bunch of people who are not good themselves. You will find him. Nothing to do with anything. Have no other gods. Love God with all your heart. Be happy against your will. None of that has anything to do with goodness. So I mean, like this whole thing,
except for maybe the first one, like being impartial and justice, might be the that's goodness.
But even
the rest of it is all
halfway
just
through to just like turn to God.
Is all just jealous. It's all just the edicts of a jealous God who doesn't want you to ever not like him. So he makes you. He wants you to be forced to love him, and even on days where you can't, he wants you to plaster on a smile and pretend that you can. Just like, oh my God, man, how fucked up. What a fucked up weirdo you worship and foist on your children.
All right. I think you're going to like this, Paul. I think we might just go ahead and wrap with this here.
Oh, yeah.
Little palate cleanser for you.
Sick.
All right. I'm not going to do any introduction. Let's just enjoy this together as one.
Okay. I got it.
You're going to love it. Everybody just look at the screen. I know a lot of people listen to us, but you're going to want to watch now. It's time to stop playing your game or doing whatever you're doing and look at the screen for a second because you need to see this. Okay. All right.
He just hit that dude in the face. Oh shit. Damn.
Yeah. What do you call that, Paul? A tune-up?
Yeah. Yeah, he just got himself a little tune-up.
Man, a guy acting like a total fucking piece of shit prick. Just going around punching people in the face for no reason. Fucking acting like a tough guy. Fucking acting all macho. Getting in everybody's face. Being a total piece of shit prick. And then someone who's just tired of his bullshit just walks right up to him, clocks him once in the face, and he's out like a fucking light.
Dude, I love how they go baba too. They just like fucking their arms over the head. They are out, you know?
Yeah.
They just go straight to fucking dreamland. No, this happens in the real world a lot. Not every time it needs to. But yeah, like my family would call that a tune-up.
He definitely made one.
That's, you know, like, you know, I mean, it's an
I don't,
older
you know,
way
look,
of
I
thinking.
I don't think everybody who fucking has a behavioral issue in public needs this treatment. Okay.
But there are some people who do.
But when there's a motherfucker that goes around hitting people for no goddamn reason and acting like a tough guy and being like, yeah, bitch, yeah, it's time.
Yeah, let's see it again.
It's time for someone to come along and fucking clock this bitch. All right, I'm gonna show him. I
want to see him taking the dirt nap one more time. He crosses the line from posturing to like assault right here. Punches this dude in the face for no reason.
Just look at the body language of the dude that he punches. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck? All right. You're a piece of shit. That dude is not trying to fight you.
No, he's just definitely trying to de-escalate.
Dude, calm. Like, he's just like, hey, calm the fuck down. Boom. Gets punched in the face. Like, what the fuck? Boom. I love this hero over here. I love this guy over here. Look at him getting ready to punch, you know? He looks to his friend like, should I knock this guy the fuck out? And his friend's like, do it.
Do it, dude. Yeah. You're doing everybody a fucking favor.
And then you look at him.
If you did it.
Look at the purpose. I mean, even on
knows.
this potato fucking cam quality, I can see the fucking purpose in his fucking eyeballs. You know what I mean?
He's filled in those seconds before he acts with the fucking righteous knowledge that he is the hero that we deserve.
And that's all it takes. That's all you need.
That's it. Now,
Problem solved.
Maybe not 100% guarantee, but I give you about a 95% guarantee.
But that's the last time this motherfucker acts like this in public?
Yep. This motherfucker lives the rest of his life till the end and knows that he probably shouldn't start stupid shit like this. If he was all drunk and that's the reason he did this motherfucker probably doesn't drink anywhere near as much anymore. He got his tune up. He was disabused of the notion that usually comes from being raised in a far too permissive environment, that there are not consequences for lashing out at people. At some point in this dude's life, he was taught an erroneous lesson by some authority figure that it was okay for him to lash out at people. And he's taken that somehow all the way into adulthood. He probably wielded it all through school against his peers in school. And he has now been disabused of the notion. And that's really all it takes for these people usually to learn the lesson that they need to. It's the undoing of a lifetime of incorrect raising.
Yep. All condensed into one place. See?
Yep.
This is you know what this guy is doing? He's doing what Prager U only talks about. He's bringing some goodness into the world by taking out some douchiness. This is fucking,
now that's some goodness.
Yeah, you know? I mean, no one can deny, even if you don't really believe in violence or whatever, you can't deny that sometimes a motherfucker's got a little bit of it coming his way. And that guy is definitely among them.
Hey, I'm not saying I'm the guy to dispense it. I clearly am not. I'm not trying to be a big tough bro. I'm just saying, when one of these dudes that thinks they're about it, that you can tell has just thrown up his hands at every fucking problem that in public, probably gotten away with it a few times, gets knocked the fuck out, I do nothing but celebrate for it. Because it's one less out. It's like justice condensed to me, because it accomplishes usually the very thing that you hope justice accomplishes, which it takes a person who breaks the law and victimizes people and turns them into a person that would never do that. And yeah, I can almost guarantee you that this Afro dude woke up maybe in a hospital bed, maybe at home with most likely at home with a huge headache and maybe a missing tooth.
Yeah.
And the next time he was out at a fucking bar at night around some people, I can almost guarantee you he just went on about his fucking business. Well, why would that happen?
Which is what you call justice. And we call that show Onion Nuggets. Hope you enjoyed it.
That is Onion Nuggets.
Hope you enjoyed it. See you motherfuckers next time. Next week we'll be doing a public one. And then
next week will be public, and I think it's TJ and Scotty next week. And then
don't forget that on the 31st, we are going to be doing the Jordan Peterson Gauntlet, 6 Pacific, and I think it's 9 Eastern.
Yeah, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, so that we catch every time zone.
We're gonna usher in we're gonna do 6-hour show. We're gonna usher in the new year for everybody. It might go a little bit after 6 hours, but it'll be around that ballpark.
So yeah,
I want to usher in the new year for everybody in America, other than Hawaii and Alaska, because they're just on their own. But yeah,
fuck them.
They don't fucking matter. Fuck those pieces of shit.
But
you guys don't get a New Year's show. You'll have to rewind or whatever the fuck. All right,
we'll see you guys there. Bye.
See you guys there. Love you all. Bye bye. Boom.